Hey there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon, tracking a severe thunderstorm warning for Lamar County, Alabama, in effect until 12:15 p.m. on this Friday. Good afternoon. Hopefully you're doing all right. We'll be tracking a few of these today. Hopefully not a lot of severe thunderstorms today, but not an impossibility to get a few to pop up around the region. Myself, or Emily Leonard, will be giving you some updates today. Happy Independence Day. Unfortunately, coming with this. As we go into the weekend. So we're looking here from Haitiki back to Star, south of Verdon, south of US, south of US 78, but also south there of Alabama 18, kind of moving toward the north. You can see kind of the edge of that rain-cooled air moving northward there. I'm going to change our perspective here just a moment, and I forgot to turn on my side monitor, so give me just a second to get that on so I can actually see some of what I'm talking about here. So severe thunderstorm warning, you see 12:15. I would say on this storm, the most intense part probably right there where that white line is. I kind of go into the middle of that. That's where, again, we could have some hail possibly up to around, not impossible to have it up to a ½ inch in size, maybe an inch. That's one of the things we'll be kind of investigating over the next few minutes here, is just exactly how large that is going to end up getting. Looking in particular here at the severe threats using our threat tracker, really two spots there where it also shows that hail growing near the Woodlawn, just up to the west, the east of the Woodlawn area. But kind of where this purple is here, especially in this pattern we're in right now, typically we don't end up seeing a lot of large hailstones out of these, but it can happen. And so I'd say more than anything, it's as it goes through a collapsing phase that it kicks out some stronger wind gusts. Our True Shield hail swath does show some spots there where we'll say we're in the possible category on it, not necessarily all the way to probable, but certainly an elevated risk to possibly see some hail with this, if not just, the obviously gusty winds, as that's trying to fall down closer to the ground there as well. So if we're ahead of this, let's get a storm track on this for you here. So let's double check the speed here for a moment as well, so we kind of get things rolling. This is frankly a little earlier than I'd hoped we wouldn't have had to cover any at all today, but it is what it is on that holiday weekend. We know there's always going to be something. Now I need to double check that. That says only about 8 miles over the last hour. It's picking up speed to the north there toward Vernon. So even though it shows it's only moved 8 miles, as it's, I think, going through the collapsing phase and kicking out some of its stronger wind gusts, it's definitely going a little faster than that there. So I'm going to track it. Oops, and that is not a clean track. Let's get in closer so we can get the front edge of this a little better. So again, Vernon, the gust front's already kind of made it into Vernon. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. We're going to say 19-20 miles per hour on that forward motion there as well. Hey, I'm going to answer this phone, Emily, and then I'm going to hand this to you because I'm not sure who this is. We'll double check this. Hello? Yes, I'm on the air live at the moment. Okay, I will, Emily, this phone call's for you. I'm going to leave it on the desk here. I'm going to leave it open, so give me just a moment. And she'll come in and pick it up. So stick with me. You're welcome. You're fine. So again, let's kind of reset things here for a moment as we look at this 12:15, that time frame on this severe thunderstorm warning. Not impossible that this does again cross the state line and at some point possibly cause some wind issues there. As we talked about the last couple of days, it usually kind of starts with one in this situation, and then they kind of blossom from there on what we see. So here's our camera in Amory, and we're going to look a couple different directions on this camera here to kind of get a good look at exactly where this is going. Let's give me a moment. I'm gonna try something new on where I'm placing all of my stuff on the screen here. I'm gonna try putting the cameras out in front of me, and maybe that'll make it a little bit easier there. So we are looking, see, that's still looking west. So these are looking at the storms that are kind of developing there. You can see kind of on our inset on the screen there, just a little bit north of Amory. That's the thunderstorms that these are in. So those are still kind of in the development phases. There's a little boundary there that those are somewhat attached to. Let's go ahead and pan our camera around, again, looking northeast. Looking east, we're going to be kind of looking through that tower, but southeast, looking towards some of those strong to severe thunderstorms. I'm going to get my angle correct on that. That was a lot of spinning of the camera. Make sure we're looking, we got to look a little bit more southeast than we were looking there. So we might have a decent shot looking at that from up in Aberdeen as well. Get another good look at it. Yeah, so looking southeast, that's our severe storms approaching. Still a little ways away, so we don't have the greatest look in the world, you know, at the features with it. I will say, kind of looking toward the top of this, and I don't know if it's going to let me pan it any higher than we have it now. It's not. But fairly kind of fuzzy on the top of this there, so hopefully it means going through a bit of a collapsing phase. That would also mean that some of the strongest wind gusts are probably kind of falling out of it at this point. I'm going to aim it back toward the east a little bit more, because I think about the time that we end up coming back to it, that's about the angle we'll want. Another shot here coming from Aberdeen. Again, I appreciate our partners with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers on these cameras. Aberdeen looking toward that storm there. I don't really see a well-defined shelf cloud on the bottom there, so we're kind of in the what goes up must come down phase on this, on, you know, how heavy it ends up being and becoming going forward. I'm going to see if we can get a little higher on this one. That's about as high up as we can go on that. And I say that, that's actually looking toward the storms, I think, up closer to the Tupelo area. These, swing it all the way back around. Oh, you know, in most cases, we have the tower that these kind of attach to on the southeast side, typically because we don't see storms move in from the southeast that often. Caledonia will have a good shot because Caledonia is on a water tower, and the benefit of a water tower is that they're, you know, you're typically on top of it. And so there's a great shot of that from Caledonia. Wow. Okay, so that is the angle I was looking for there. So very ominous, obvious look here. And Emily, if you'll snap a screenshot of this and share. So this is obviously our rain-cooled air from this. This is, you know, everything's kind of coming out, the strong winds. They're going to kind of spread forward. I know there's some twisty, kind of ugly looking stuff coming out of this. This is not going to be a storm to produce as a tornado, but this is the strong winds moving kind of northward there. I'll see if I can kind of step to where you see both the camera shot and the radar inset both at the same time here. I'll step over to this side for a moment. So Caledonia, you know, right there, so this is kind of looking back toward the east and northeast, kind of catching the north side of it. But this is that rain-cooled air spreading northward that'll be associated again with some of the potential for this to produce some spotty wind damage as well. If you give me a moment, and after promising I'd always keep looking forward, I'm going to move back to side monitor for this. What I want to check here is I'm going to go back and look at the time lapse kind of on the, for lack of a better way to put it, DVR that we have on this here. So let's switch to that. So this is a couple minutes ago here. So you can kind of see over time here how it's kind of moved. There we go. So you can kind of see how it's kind of building northward there. And so that is the strong winds. That's where we picked it up, kind of kicking up. So that is the strong winds, kind of the north side of that. But certainly kind of an ominous look to the way that cloud moved as I go back in time. You definitely see how we have a difference in wind direction here, right? With everything like some of the lower level clouds being ingested in like that, and the actual storms itself kind of moving in the odd, that northward sort of direction there. So pretty cool shot there in the Caledonia area. As we bring it back in here and kind of reset for a moment. Current time is 12:03. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. You're watching Mississippi Live. Again, we're a 24/7 streaming service based out of the Tupelo, Mississippi area. And we are tracking, obviously, some thunderstorms. Could be strong to severe. The first of the day. We do expect to have more on the way as we go through the day. Our camera there in Caledonia is part of our partnership with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, showing where that is the heaviest. So to give you an idea, again, part of this will move into Caledonia kind of from the southeast. So I'm going to hit that camera again real quick because we're kind of seeing, we're looking towards some of those indentations there. I'm going to switch this back over to this shot here because I know it matches perfectly. Some little indentations, some of the stuff kind of hanging forward on this. Some strong damaging winds possible. No severe thunderstorm warning for you in Lowndes County or Monroe County. As we check the wind mode here, no rotation. But notice how some of that wind is kind of outrunning the actual storm itself. So obviously you could see where the storm itself is, right? We go back over to the precipitation mode and there's kind of right there. There's where the edge of the storm is, Malloy, for example. But then there's this green line that extends beyond that. We sometimes call that, we do call that an outflow boundary. It's kind of the edge of the rain-cooled air. So that gust front that we also sometimes talk about moving outward from kind of the center of this, and that is already arriving in Caledonia in the last couple minutes there as well. So that's kind of the direction that is moving. But if we go back to the wind mode, you'll notice that, again, the gusty winds, 30, 40 miles per hour running ahead of the storm, and then in the storm, some spots there like near 18 in Malloy, and then near Vernon, where we probably have some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. And that's the kind of the real concern, that these storms could produce some 60 mile per hour winds if they are kind of at their strongest. So certainly watching obviously very closely for not just Lamar County, but Monroe and parts of Lowndes County as well. Let's get a storm track, an updated storm track on that. We'll clear that all off. And I'm going to track it based upon kind of that cone of wind that we're looking at. So I'm going to use a different track than maybe we typically do. And I'm going to go 20 miles per hour. We don't have a long enough period of time for me to get a good grasp on the speed. So I'm going to go a little fast. This might be too fast. But I'd rather in this case be too fast and too slow. And I'm going to say a 40-degree fan out. And let's do a beginning width of, there we go. We're pretty close. That almost worked, right? So it's generally speaking kind of heading this way, but that rain-cooled air is going to spread out as it makes its way northward there. So some gusty winds, certainly likely. And I do expect we'll have additional storm development. So this might be kind of crazy to show so many people kind of on the same warning, because the worst is not going to hit all these folks. But what happens is this is the initial ripple, right? You get the initial storm, and then additional storms kind of develop from there in the unstable, hot atmosphere we have out there. And so while this particular storm, and I actually need to probably fan it out just a little bit more than that, as crazy as it might be. Let's go 50 degrees. My computer's like, you don't actually want 50, do you? No, it won't let me do 50. 49 degrees. 45 degrees. Okay, 45 is the best I can do on that. Then I'm going to adjust it a little bit that direction as well. There we go, generally speaking. Okay, so here's the deal. This specific storm doesn't hit all these spots, but the ripple coming from it spawns additional thunderstorms out there. And so lightning, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, all of that likely to come from those as they move kind of northward. I do appreciate y'all for, again, coming alongside us here on Mississippi Live, and for joining us today. I know we have, again, typically have a pretty robust chat of people with questions, things of that nature. I have to move one thing behind the scenes, make sure I can kind of read all that as well as I could. A lot of folks watching there will hit Plantersville and Mooreville. There will be storms related to this that do make it that far north. And so again, this is not the specific storm. I want to be clear on that, but storms related to this one will kind of expand outward. So I'm going to give you some very, very rough times, and we'll probably have something that develops ahead of this as well. But just giving you some really, really rough times on how this, I'm going to say this again, this specific storm is not going to be at all these spots, but the ripple coming off of it is going to develop additional thunderstorms. We do have some up towards Shannon and Tupelo have already developed, but as that ripple kind of works its way northward, that's when more storms are going to become likely for some of those spots. Might have a decent shot of this from West Point as well. I'm going to choose our camera and head over there toward the West Point area, see if we can get kind of a wider shot of this here, and do appreciate the folks at Fastnet for sponsoring our cameras here on Mississippi Live. That, again, in a lot of ways, kind of a partner from the beginning. These cameras actually on the towers there at Fort County. And so appreciate them for coming alongside of us and sponsoring some of these cameras. I like this one here in the West Point area. We're still a ways away, and I'm getting into the systems where I can move it. So that's looking toward the stuff around Tupelo. This is looking back toward the east. I need to go probably a little bit, no, probably directly east is my best bet there. And unfortunately, we're looking right through that tower, so we don't have a good shot. So I'm going to go back to that Tupelo angle. We're going to try a different one of their cameras over in Mabin to maybe see if that's just far enough west to have a better angle on this. So as we go to Mabin, and we'll swing this one around. Okay, I'm gonna put these back on auto again and see if it'll, I'm gonna set some of these looking for storms. Apparently that's not. We'll go auto storms. I'll go back to manual here. Go swing it all the way around. I know it's going to point down for a second here because it's at a little bit of an angle. We're going to have tower in the way again, aren't we? Everything we built, knowing that storms typically come from southwest to northeast. And so everything we built has a tower in it looking back toward the west, unfortunately. That's just part of it today, I guess. Maybe let's go back over to Caledonia, where that storm is kind of moving in as we speak. Not necessarily the severe part of the thunderstorm there, but the gusty winds. You could see the camera bouncing a little bit there in Caledonia now at the latest time as that storm's kind of moving in. Temperature 90 as of the latest update. That's the thing. We have a lot of humid air for this to use up. And they'll certainly do that today. Let's answer some of these questions to the right of me. Will there be tornadoes from Monroe County? No, that's highly unlikely in this scenario for us to see tornadoes. I will say it's not zero, get maybe a little spin up, but I'd say highly unlikely that we end up getting tornadoes from storms like this today. So hopefully that brings you a little bit of comfort knowing that. I'm going to pan our camera just a little bit. Again, always a tower to the east, but looking straight east and kind of between the features here. I mean, that's that rain pool there. Still a ways away with the heavy rain and gusty winds and whatever else has up there to the north. Let's get off the cameras for a moment. Let's bring it back in here to Mama Justice Doppler radar. Again, you have kind of that general track of where these are going. Let's go ahead and clear that off. And let's look here at the wind. One thing I find interesting is that up here toward Gatman, this storm is a good example of what we were talking about, right? We said that this is the initial wave and then other thunderstorms develop on it. This one near Gatman, Sipsey Fork, that's one that's doing it right now, kind of going through a bit of a development phase there. If you have storm reports to send us, please share. The reason that is important and valuable is because that allows us to be able to, again, pass that information along the National Weather Service. So if you use the Mississippi Live Weather app, it's probably the easiest way possible to kind of share any of those pictures that you do have with us, free and available for all those different devices, and pick up our apps for Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. In particular, that Roku app. We might have something special coming up on that for you pretty soon. We did launch news after all. So anyway, pick up the Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available on all the different places, on all the different devices. As we come back in here, kind of looking at this, one thing I will say is that the gusty winds, you can see how you have a little red and green up here, by the way. Let's talk about this. Red and green doesn't necessarily mean tornadoes. Let's be clear. It means away from the radar and toward the radar site. So this is, in this case here, all this green stuff is generally speaking toward the radar site, and this is generally speaking away from the radar site. But the fact is that this is popping up on that boundary ahead, and so that's kind of the main direction some of that is heading. Now I'm going to bring in our Emily Leonard here for a moment. I want to see, she, I know, has been looking at what's kind of been going on behind the scenes there. And one of the things, you know, again, she is trying to check with this is, and I think you're backward on it. I think, Emily, I think we need to have Emily on the top one there, because I think top is left and bottom is right. And I got that for you. I should have that taken care of. Okay, so I'm going to bring Emily in here for a moment. Emily, just one of the things that you've been kind of looking at what folks have been talking about, sort of behind the scenes here. What are you hearing as of this time frame?
Obviously, with the 4th of July weekend and this being a holiday, a lot of people are currently out and about, traveling. A couple things. I posted that photo that you showed from the Caledonia camera. And a couple of people talking about traveling, especially in that area. Do you have any recommendations? I mean, obviously don't, if you don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's probably the number one thing. Don't, if you don't have to. Yeah. I mean, it's listen, these are going to be kind of, you have some time. But that Gatman storm, that's a downburst going on with that one there. By the way, our warning is going to expire here in a couple minutes. Yeah, I mean, I would say avoid 278 for the next little bit here between Amory and Soligent. That's probably the number one easiest thing that people can do. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be more thunderstorms to go through the afternoon. So I mean, I would give it a little longer there in Caledonia. Vernon, obviously, Alabama Highway 18. Let's be avoiding that. What else?
Been searching for any kind of photos anybody may be receiving. If you do get some damage or you're able to send us any kind of photos, make sure you do it safely and make sure you use the Mississippi Live weather app to do that. Matt's able to pull those up a lot faster and a lot quicker than if you post them to social media or if you send us an email. So definitely do that. I'm going to start reaching out to the EMA directors here pretty soon. I was trying to give it a little time to get that storm through there and see if they've got any reports. So I will check with them coming up in just a couple of minutes. Looking with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, right now they have not posted anything, at least on their Facebook page. You may have something in their chat. Otherwise, right now, just waiting for that storm to come through.
Absolutely, and I do not think that they're necessarily going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning into Lowndes or Monroe counties. As you can see, as of 12:15, that has popped off our map. Emily, I appreciate your time and patience. Remind me on our list of things we have to do. I need to set this shot up when we do this in a 2-box to be my vMix call. That way we don't have the audio reverberation on that, the back and forth. So just remind me of that.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, appreciate it. Okay, current time is now 12:16. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Wall. You're watching Mississippi Live 24/7 streaming service based out of the Tupelo, Mississippi area. Fairly heavy thunderstorm. I'll say borderline severe thunderstorm trying to move into parts of Lowndes and Monroe County. I'm interested, and I noticed on the wind here a second ago. The reason why the red and green didn't make sense is because it was too early. Look at this. So over the Gapman area, we have a downburst occurring right now. I have it on twice. Sorry. This is why I trust the programming. And I don't think I got that right either. Hold on. There we are. Okay. I'm going to change that in the boxes, right? Emily, if you'll change in the boxes, it doesn't exist. Never mind. I'll get that figured out here in a little bit. Okay, downburst. Let's stick with that for a moment. See how you have the red on this side, green on this side, away and toward? It's almost pointed directly there. See how this is going toward the radar site in Greenwood Springs? That's going away from the radar site in Greenwood Springs. So even though we've got the red and green next to one another, it's easy to say, whoa, is that rotation? It's not. In this case, it's downburst. It's going both directions. So there's probably going to be a little wind damage. I know there's not a lot of folks that live right there on 278 in the Gapman area, but if you know someone who does, it's highly likely you're probably going to get a little bit of wind damage, tree damage, stuff like that from that. That's a solid downburst there as well. So now the difficult part about that, good if you're not in the area, is typically there's not a lot of tracking that's go on with this. See how the storm itself isn't moving. It has just popped up and it's bursted up higher because this outflow's kind of undercutting it. So that's going to boost it a little higher and it'll go through the collapsing phase and it'll be all dead here fairly soon. But that is I think going to probably produce at least some sporadic wind damage at that spot there as well, a possibility. Let's see how things have evolved over the last 20-25 minutes or so, and I'll reset for a moment. You're watching Mississippi Live. We're 24/7 weather streaming service based out of the Tupelo, Mississippi area. If you haven't downloaded our apps, make sure to do that. Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV. We stream live when there's severe weather. We don't when there's not. And so it's a decent chance that we stop down this live stream here in a few minutes. I was up till 5 in the morning last night working on trying to get some of the audio stuff fixed and working for Emily there. So I'm not 100% on energy today. If we think we have something potentially damaging, obviously we're going to be on and we're going to be covering that here. But we also don't want to come across as though we're hyping something here as well. But I will say that I do think in a couple of very isolated locations, sporadic wind damage seems possible. The fact that we've got, this is one of those scenarios here with this one near Gapman, where we would not have seen this if it wasn't so really, really close to the radar site there. Yeah, see, now it's undercut. For a brief second, you see the red and green as that's expanding out. You can even kind of see, watch how it expands. It goes, whoop. I'm going to make this a slower loop. Because this is something that when we talk about these sorts of things happening, but we don't usually have the data to be able to really show it good and close like this. Let's make that loop again. See how that's right there? You can almost see the ring. It's like it's in close, wider, wider there. So that is what's heading toward Mormon Springs there. And then of course this being undercut by that kind of the rain-cooled air that's kind of coming out of it in general. So a couple shots. We mentioned Amory a little bit ago. Checking our camera there in Amory, still fairly well building up. Let's go ahead and we'll pull down that QR code for a moment, and we will check over. I'm going to hit Caledonia real fast before we hit Amory, because Caledonia, things do look better than they did for you. The heaviest part of that, the strongest part is just a little bit north, but there's that rain cooled air. Notice how, though, if you look closely at some of these streams coming down, they kind of curve out. See the darkest gray? Sort of kind of curves out that direction there. That's that rain cooled air spreading forward as it hits the ground. Maybe previously a couple of hailstones. I don't think there's a lot of hail probably falling out of that at this time. We're going to work our way up to Aberdeen and then Amory, trying to get a shot of this here. Looking Aberdeen. And our camera there, this is looking northeast. So that would be kind of toward the leading edge of some of those storms that were there near the Gatman area. Probably have a shot of some of that building a few minutes ago. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is a time lapse coming from our, oops, wrong button there. From our Aberdeen camera. And so I'm going to go back and you can kind of see these storms blowing up over the last little bit. There we go. Okay. So, a moment here. So you can definitely see those kind of bubbling up, right? That is it, basically using all the unstable air we have out there and just kind of blowing and bubbling it up, 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 up. And as they burst through like that, when they go through the collapsing phase, that's when they kick out some of those damaging wind gusts. So that was what it would look like in Aberdeen. National Weather Service there in Memphis choosing to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe County. That's a severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe County in effect until 1 p.m. And that's because of the potential for damaging winds with this storm kind of coming in. I think that encapsulates primarily the storm coming out of Lamar County and moving into Monroe, Marion, and Lowndes counties. When we're close up in here on our Amory camera, you can see everything kind of bubbling up on that one as well. I'm going to go back. I want to see the time lapse on this one as well, because I will bet you can kind of see that really bubbling up there. Gusty winds, the reason this severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. And let's go ahead and pop back up here. So this goes back to when I was moving the camera around a little bit. There we go. Now you can see it approaching, everything sort of bubbling up there as it gets a lot closer to the Amory area. So Amory, you are at the edge of this severe thunderstorm warning, not directly in it, but you can see everything kind of bubbling up there. So it's definitely kind of a rough sort of look. As we reset things here for a moment, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. You're watching Mississippi Live. Our camera there with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers in Amory showing an approaching storm with potential to produce some wind gusts that could potentially exceed 60 miles per hour. As we bring it to the current time, that is that this yellow box is here. Is my audio? What's wrong with my audio?
You sound like you're in a tin can.
Check, check. Still?
It kind of keeps going in and out.
I think what's happening is I think I got different. Yeah, I got your mic figured out. You would think that my mic would be figured out as well. But go ahead and does it still sound like that? Or is that your earpiece?
No, it's not my earpiece.
Okay. Well, is it still? So it still sounds like it. Okay. We'll figure that out. Desktop mic. Up. It should be good. So. Oh well, we'll get that figured out. I apologize for that if there's an audio issue there. We'll get that figured out. Oh, I have a double. Okay, my microphone. Audio capture too. Hold on. I think we got it. Now, there we go. That should be better. Hey, you know what? We'll eventually get there, right? We added a whole new studio, so we're doing okay with that, but not perfect. Another one of those downbursts showing up here near north of Gatman near Splunge. that is what kind of this green and red area is that you see up here. This is another one of those downbursts near Splunge. So we're going to get these. These are occurring many other places. We're just not always close enough to the radar site to be able to catch it. But that area could be some 60-mile-per-hour winds. And I know it's easy to say, well, hold on. We've taught you red and green. Look for red and green. But in this case, green means toward, right? So green means it's coming toward the radar that's right there. Red means away. And so instead of us seeing this, actually trying to kick out a rotation, this is saying hitting the ground and spreading out from there. So gusty winds with that, certainly a possibility. Is it better now?
The sound is better. Ethan may have some shots for you.
Okay.
From Hamilton.
Let's take a look at Ethan's shot here. I appreciate that. He's up. Okay. So our Ethan Foster in Hamilton with more. I'm looking at your camera here, Ethan. That looks kind of rough.
Yeah, Matt. It was kind of centered off into the, I guess that would be the southeast direction. Probably about 20 minutes ago, came out for my my daily walk that I like to do out behind the house, and now you can kind of see it's really shifted to cover pretty much north to south on the eastern side of things. So that kind of goes in conjunction with that severe thunderstorm warning that just got sent out on the app. Of course, I was checking that when I saw that hail was approaching about 20 minutes ago, and that's when I saw you were up and live. So came out, threw it up, figured.
Oh man, it seems like internet coverage is doing what internet coverage does down there in Hamilton. But go ahead. You go back about 10 seconds on what you were saying.
Yeah, I was just mentioning that saw the updates on the app saying that the severe thunderstorm warning had been issued. Right now, I know it's a little juddery. I'm trying to move slow so that it doesn't look too bad, but I can tell the wind is starting to pick up coming in from the east and blowing to the west. It's actually really starting to pick up now as I'm mentioning it. So, it's actually very cold air now that I'm kind of paying more attention to it. So I can't complain about that on a very cold air. Actually, I mean, that feels like 70-degree air that's hitting me right there. I feel like I'm in the air conditioning for a second there. So that's kind of interesting.
I mean, so that's your rain cooled air hitting you. So this is what we call the gust front. And what we show this a lot of times, outflow boundary gust front. I mean, it's right over top of you. And that's a pretty decent distance away from the storm. So it shows you that what this is I always kind of liken this to when kids, I blame kids, not like I've ever spilled water, but you spill water on a counter and you watch it kind of roll out in that sheet. That's what's happening here. That rain cooled air hits the ground and it's spreading out toward you. So congratulations on winning the temperature lottery today, Ethan.
Yeah, and I was going to show you some of these little baby cotton plants down here. You can kind of see the wind blowing them around close to the ground here. But yeah, very interesting. I'm not chilly by any means, but definitely cooler than it has been.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate that, Ethan. Appreciate you pop on. Hey, happy Independence Day. I gave a bunch of people shout outs yesterday. I want to make sure to give you one as well. Our Ethan Foster, thank you so much for, I say sports on there. You probably do more weather live shots than you do sports live shots, if we're honest. But thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing here and the hope, obviously, of expanding sports. We know that certainly a lot of that's going to ride on you and Will as we continue to go more into more things.
Absolutely, Matt. Glad to be a part of it, and glad that Emily's on board now. Knew it was coming for a little while, and glad now everyone else gets to know.
Well, I know, and it's one of those. It took a lot of negotiation with Emily, but eventually convinced her to come over to the streaming side. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, happy Independence Day, and I'll keep looking at your shot, and we might pull it back up in a little bit if you want, or hey, if you just want to enjoy your day off, go for that as well. We'll probably get inside. That's pretty
All right,
shot.
I'll keep an eye on it, Matt, and if I see anything interesting, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Our Ethan Foster there in Monroe County in the Hamilton area with that rain-cooled air hitting him. The strongest winds are just north of that, going right over top of the radar site. Two areas of concern that we have up there in Monroe County. I have this area where we have this downburst ongoing up here near Splunge, where this is kind of spread apart there. Strong gusty winds with that. And this other one here right along 278 near Gatman moving toward Quincy and right up 278 in the direction there of the Amory area. So sporadic wind damage, I think, probable with this here as that's Now listen, if I go in and I start like picking out individual pixels, I only show 40, 50 miles an hour. I think it's possible we have a little bit greater than that with this, and so that's the reason this warning has been issued. Let's get a new track on two things. First off, I'm going to initially track, and first, the reason why we're concentrating, by the way, all on this, if you just look at the number of lightning strikes, about 800 lightning strikes in the last hour on this storm. None of the other thunderstorms are as electric, thus they're not as strong. So let's go ahead and track this northeastward. The individual thunderstorms, excuse me, northwestward. Look about 21 miles an hour. That might be still a little fast. I need to double check that speed. It's been around long enough that I can actually kind of probably make an estimation now. So let's do some math here. My daughter working on some math in the other room. This is why we do it. So we're going to go 8 times 4, 9 times 4 is a little less than 40 miles an hour. So it has definitely picked up from its 8 or so that we looked at a little bit ago. So let's go ahead and expand this forward then based on that. And that's the thing, we do expect it could run faster, like this storm that we had up there near Splunge. So I'm going to track it though from where the main storm is. I'm going to do that at about 40-ish miles per hour, and there are thunderstorms running ahead of this. So while it starts off as a little track there, we're going to definitely expand that. So let's choose squall track. Let's expand that out. We're going to make that 45 degrees, and we're going to make it wider than that. And we're going to go out a little longer as well. We'll get it all the way for some times when that strongest part could make it up toward the Tupelo area. So you can see right now, again, severe thunderstorm warning ongoing there for locations in and around Monroe County until 1 p.m. Does include potential for wind damage. Does include the city of Amory, Aberdeen. You're also with the southwest portion of the city of Amory, Aberdeen. It's generally a little bit west of you. It's kind of jutted right around our camera location there in Caledonia. That does mean in Caledonia we'll probably have a decent chance to look at it. Before we go to that, I'll go ahead and change the city size here for a moment so we can get some other folks kind of ahead in just some very rough times, because there are thunderstorms. Let's be clear here. In Tupelo, you have thunderstorms basically overhead. They are non-severe. This is when the stronger storm could arrive for you, or at least what it turns into, because what we expect is this wave will continue moving northward. And it's kind of like you're looking in the ocean, right? If you've ever been lucky enough to go to the beach, look in the ocean, you watch the wave, you can watch the big one, and it might wobble down, but it might also combine with another wave and get big again in a different spot. That's what these are. These are kind of like watching the waves from the ocean roll in, the edge of that rain-cooled air there, stirring up the atmosphere, and then producing whatever it ends up producing, including the potential for some damaging wind and maybe even some large hail. We'll go to Caledonia and then hit Amory on our cameras there. Actually, I'm going to start in Aberdeen, looking into that there, looking kind of into the storm that's prompted this severe thunderstorm warning for folks there in Aberdeen. Again, we're looking kind of into the rain-cooled air. I'm going to move on the bottom where it says severe thunderstorm warning, because that's kind of our most impressive part, kind of eventually moving toward Aberdeen, but it's kind of moving more north at this time. We'll slide up to Amory. Camera location there in the Amory area shows a lot more dark than what it had a few minutes ago when we were looking out of that. I'm going to check out our time lapse on this. We're going to start this back at noontime here. One of these days I will not hit that button. Oh, there we go. It did hit the right button. Okay, so showing as that's all kind of building up and developing, coming closer. You can see the darker clouds starting to arrive. So it's getting closer. Time's kind of ticking away before this kicks up. Some strong winds and everything else that kind of comes with it there. That's why the last little bit I think really tells the story here. As you can see, the real dark stuff kind of coming toward the camera lens there. So great shot there in Amory. Sorry that's not the clearest. We're still working and figuring out the best way to kind of show these things here in real time. But I see that Andy behind the scenes there making the comment that a lot of lightning going on there in Greenwood Springs. I believe that power out on 1277 in Nettleton. Multiple trees down on there Road there, Brittany. So give me a moment here to make sure that I pass that along the National Weather Service. Viewer report of power out. No, not power out. Let me copy that. Give me just a moment. Want to make sure that we get that there. Yeah, power out on. So that's in Nettleton, which is interesting. That's not this storm. Let me go back up here and just double check some of your comments here. Audio definitely better, thankfully. Okay, I don't see any other obvious ones. If you do have, stuff to report, let us know. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it back here over to radar. And if we had some trees down there in Nettleton, I want to get a better look at that as well, to make sure, because what we talked about a moment ago, right? Emily, on our list, Coggins subdivision. I've got to call Barron. We've got to get Nettleton on here instead of that. I don't know why it pops that up, but it does. So we've got to call them. But let's look at this to see how this has played out, because that's very interesting to me that, yeah, you know what happened here? Exact same thing we talked about in Splunge. Remember we talked about that we weren't necessarily going to be able to see it if it wasn't this close. Same thing that happened in Splunge. We got one of those downbursts there. Yeah, see, it doesn't really show up because we're looking too high up on this. But you had some kind of a downburst probably on that there, just like what you had happen there near Gapman and Sipsey Fork up here in Splunge. This is another example where it's kind of spreading apart as it goes through the collapsing phase. So these spotty wind damage reports certainly possible as these storms collapse. So that's why we got that report of some isolated tree damage. Did we talk about that storm? Not really, because we are still learning. And now we know, as I go wide here, and I need to tell you that any one of these, as they go through a collapsing phase, could cause some spotty wind damage. Because look at this. See how these storms are not moving here at all? Like, watch this one right there in northern Oktibbeha County. Doesn't move at all. So that means it just drops everything it's got right that spot. And so that's what then kicks out those damaging wind gusts. So that's what that's probably doing there in northern Oktibbeha County right now, or probably has been for the last little bit, some spotty damaging wind. Now listen, compare it to the quantity of lightning. Watch the lightning up here. Look at what we have here. So these are a lot less organized. So maybe only 30-mile-per-hour winds, but some spotty wind damage, certainly a possibility with this as well there. So for Splunge, that's what we're looking at. Again, damaging winds probably with this. No tornadoes, I want to be clear. And I see someone there say, what direction are these moving? Toward the northwest? Yes, they definitely are moving toward, I would say when they're moving toward the northwest. And it's an important distinction because they're not all moving. Let's check this storm out here. Maybe visually this will look a little better there in the Starkville area. Checking our camera there in Starkville. Let me get to where you can move it. Again, appreciate Fastnet, one of our newest sponsors here on Mississippi Live. I'm going to pan our Starkville camera around. Actually, it's already kind of looking toward the east. I'll see if I can pan up. Oop. Man, this camera and I, the last couple of days, I've overdone it every time I've tried to move this one. So this is east and looking kind of northeast toward the leading edge of some of those storms. I mean, you can definitely see them kind of building up pretty high on that one there. So this is still definitely a developing thunderstorm. When it's this crisp looking like it is there, that's a storm that's getting stronger, is not reached its peak yet, and certainly one we'll have to watch. But these storms all moving kind of from southwest to northeast. Our camera in Mabin, also sponsored by the folks there at Fastnet, as part of our partnership with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. This is looking north. Wanted to see from a farther distance away what we had, and kind of looking at that there. Mix of clouds, not the greatest look. Let's come all the way up to Tupelo here for a moment. Our Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling camera up here, again showing those thunderstorms that are generally speaking kind of heading in your direction here in the Tupelo area. It's going to be probably the 1 o'clock hour. No, go and leave that open. It gets hot in here. You can hear them on the camera? Okay. Okay. Yeah, just make sure they're aware. Okay. See, now my microphone's too good. Ugh. Tell me that when I woke up this morning here. So looking southeast, again, this is the direction we'd be looking into that heaviest storm. We have a few others between there and the Tupelo area. Looks like that reporting station in Tupelo is down at the moment as well. Update on our warning, again, as we kind of pull down that camera network for a moment. Severe thunderstorm warning does continue up here from Monroe County. That in effect until 1 p.m. Splunge, again, it's kind of a conglomeration here. We have the rain-cooled air sort of running in advance of this right there. That's what's kind of expanding back toward the north and east. But Splunge, I know we've got some viewers there, you know, cloud to ground lightning there in Solent, Alabama. The heaviest of this is sort of gone around Solent. I'm going to make this use the 1 minute data here, just in case there's something kind of missing. But you can see this green there, that is the edge of the rain-cooled air, right, moving its way northeastward. They have trimmed back the warning just a little bit on the latest update there from the National Weather Service. 60-mile-per-hour winds, perhaps hail up around 3/4 of an inch in size. Yeah, at this point here, not something that that is necessarily heading directly toward the west. And as we check, in particular, looking at the hail threat here, our True Shield hail threat shows some hail potential out of this storm. Let me double check this here. Looking at the storm chasers, what they've got so far. Just kind of looking at, they agree with what we're talking about. What they would say, microburst favorable environment. That means it's likely that as these collapse, you get these wind damage events potentially out of it. I want to check here because I'm still learning on our shear on this here if it'll pick up microbursts. It kind of did. It kind of caught that there. It shows that wind change near Mormon Springs and Gatman earlier, and then the one near Splunge was that there as well. So these very, very isolated wind damage areas, a possibility. Oh, I want to check and see if severe threats picked that up. How well that picked it up here. It caught the hail portion of that, which in this case we think was more downburst with that. And Splunge it had as well. Okay, so the reason that's important is this gives us an opportunity to potentially use this to identify our cores that are going to go through the big collapse. And when they do go through that collapse, could kick out the damaging wind gusts. So we might have had one of those northeast of Crawford just a little bit ago. I don't think the Muldrow one there got probably strong enough where it was doing that. So that does not look as impressive there. It does show that this storm here near Mormon Springs, the portion of the storm that's kind of moving sort of generally toward where Ethan was there in Hamilton, probably going to go a little bit more northeast there toward Westville along Highway 8. That's where that's going to move. It's going to cross Highway 8 here in the next few minutes. Let's adjust our ETA speed here. So storm speed we'll say is 37 miles per hour, not 378. Let's check and see how that works. If this is a tool I used to love. I want to see. Yeah, so we show that's about 7 minutes and 4.5 miles, the heaviest portion of that from crossing Highway 8. The wind gusts, the initial wind gusts are already doing that there. And then we look toward the storm up here. See that toward Smithville? I've had this one just kind of pop up, barely showing up. This is going to be the next one here as we're kind of connecting the line. There's a line right there of rain-cooled air. And as we kind of connect this line here, that's going to then allow these storms to probably produce some of these spotty wind damage reports again as well. So this is, yep, another one we show right there near Bristow. So this one's about to kick out 50 to 60 mile per hour winds there as that rain-cooled air hits the ground and spreads out. That's kind of the next bogey that we're at least able to pick up here, possibly doing the same thing with that Carolina storm as well. Let's look back here toward Troy and Chihuahua there. And to do that, we're probably going to have to go back to our Tupelo. Actually, we could probably hit Houston with that camera and check that out. You're watching Mississippi Live, by the way. We're a 24/7 streaming service based out of the Tupelo, Mississippi area. You're looking at our North Mississippi Storm Chaser camera there in Houston. One of these days I will learn the alphabet in my head good enough to not have to sing the alphabet song every time I want to figure out the order on these cameras behind the scenes. But Houston, this is looking toward the north and naturally toward the northeast. We're looking through the tower there, so we don't have a great shot on that one toward the northeast. But I'm going to switch this around toward the southeast. At some point, additional storms could try to develop in from that direction. This way, we've kind of got Houston protected as those storms move toward you. Pick up our apps for iOS and Android devices. We do some news here on Mississippi Live, and I'm going to get a check from our Emily Leonard here in just a second. I'm going to see if this is set up to where on my 2-box it will do my other call there. So maybe we don't get the audio issue. But Emily, if you will kind of hop in front of the camera there for a second. I don't know if you can hear me. There we are. Okay, I'll get kind of an update on what you are finding out as of this time. And you might not have a whole lot that's really coming. That's entirely possible as well. What's going on? Can you hear me?
I'm hearing a lot of Matt Lawpon in my ear. Yeah, I can hear you.
Double?
I just hear a lot of you coming at one time. Right now, I'm going to take this out for a second. So right now, a lot of people are just watching. We haven't been getting very many pictures in on Facebook. I don't know if you've been getting any on the app. Of course, we told everyone to send them through the app, and I'm not able to see those just yet. But most people just talking about cool air, feeling really good. Don't blame them there. Of course, the thunder and the lightning as well. And that's just kind of what's happening right now. I posted a little bit of the track of where this is going, leading into at least the early portion of our afternoon. So you can check that out as well.
Okay, that's our Emily Leonard again joining us. Yeah, no real reports coming in from emergency managers you've talked to yet, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Our Emily Leonard, we're just going to kind of keep checking back in with you and see. No news is good news in that case. We'd love to hopefully have a lot more time like that. Current time is now 12:47. You're watching Mississippi Live. We're looking outside in Houston. We're going to go over to our Tupelo location here using our North Mississippi Storm Chaser camera network, and appreciate again Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling for sponsoring our Tupelo camera. Number of other folks stepping up here in the last week or so to sponsor what we're doing. We've mentioned Fastnet for the folks in around Golden Triangle and 4 County Electric. Our newest sponsor I'll get to here in a minute up in Iuka, Farmers and Merchants Bank. But as we look in this Tupelo camera here for a moment, is my mic doing it again? What's going on? You're going to have to tell me what fix my mic means, Emily. If you're going to give me information, I need more information than just fix the mic. And that's the more information. Lots of me. Is there a mic problem for anyone else? It might just be your ear, Emily, that you're getting this. It's entirely possible that you have the stream. Give it here. I need to hear it. You want to talk about, give an update here, and I can go back there and hear it? Check. Yeah, I don't know why you're getting it twice. Oh, I do know why you're getting it twice. Anyway, okay. Okay, well, I can't fix it right now. Sorry.
Is it just me?
It's just you. That's not everybody else getting that. So sorry about that. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out, Emily. I can't do that right now. Okay. So let's go ahead and reset things here for a moment. We're looking in Tupelo. Again, storms kind of on the west side of town, getting southwest side of town, getting a little bit heavier there. Yeah, everybody else hears me just fine, Emily. So Mitchell Cunningham bowling camera there. That's the one we're looking at kind of southwest of town. I'll bring it in a little bit closer here. This is the one near Troy. I say southwest town. It's really more out around Troy and Furs, south of the Trace State Park area. Gusty winds probably increasing on this one, though we don't show it at the lowest level. We're also just far enough away from the radar site that that doesn't always show up at that distance. Let's bring it back in here to our severe thunderstorm warning. And before we do, I'm going to just kind of outline a couple things. This kind of gives us a guideline of where these storms are and where they're going. I'll do one arc that color. I'll do another arc this color here. And these are basically all just expanding in their own directions based on where they started, right? Think of this like you had some kind of, I guess not cosmic, but gigantic rock that was tossed into the lake of the atmosphere. And so in this case, somewhere around here is where it originally started, and they've all kind of expanded from there. Hey, Emily, you're going to go on and grab my phone to maybe see if you can send in those pictures using the app from Ben. But we got the initial spot there, the other spot here, and they're both kind of expanding outward. So this gives us an idea that this storm, this batch of storms up north here, is going to continue kind of expanding in a northerly direction more so. These will kind of all go kind of out from here up northward. But this is the batch that's a little stronger, and where we're most likely to probably see something produce wind damage. I know there's a lot of gone full John Madden for the people old enough to know what that means. But it's along this boundary here that this is going to kind of try to expand, and it's at the kind of intersection of these two boundaries that we're most likely to see wind damage. So I would say that if this continues to do something, Fulton, Mantachie, Moorville, Moorville might be a little too far west, Tremont, Oakland, Eastman there, that's where we're most likely to see that. And I'll go ahead and check the app here in a second, see what kind of pictures you all have sent in, which has been a bunch. Okay, so let's do the picture thing, shall we? Before we do, again, resetting here, severe thunderstorm warning continues Monroe County, and checking the damaging winds here. Right near Splunge, this kind of the second batch, how that's expanded northward there. See, this is the intersection because you had winds coming down from one direction and the other. Interesting look to that there. Okay, so what's interesting about this is there is a little bit of spin with this. Now, before I say that, let's not think tornado, but let's just say that if you've ever, been in the bathtub and you move your hand through and you see little eddies, little spins that happen there that maybe for the briefest second, it kind of looks like what we have right there going on, but I don't know that that actually means anything. So let's look at our cameras to find out if it does. That is why we have these cameras. And so our Amory camera, it's going to be kind of a hard shot. You can see the gusty winds moving into the Amory area now. And we'll go Amory. And let's pan this a little bit east. Yeah, see, we're not going to be able to see around that heavy rainfall that's in the foreground there in Amory. But gusty winds starting to pick up in the Amory area. Not officially severe for you in Amory, but certainly approaching. That gust front has arrived, and that's all that rain cooled air that Ethan was talking about a little bit ago, kind of moving into the Amory area. And so that's what this is here, right? This green line that's running there in advance, that is our gust front kind of pushing ahead. And so that's one of the things that you all have done a pretty effective job of capturing so far today, is right underneath that. So, and appreciate all of you that have used the Mississippi Live weather app to show some of these. So let's go with this one here. There we go. And so some of these shots. And so I'm going to map these, get an idea of where some of these are coming in down here. So we've had some in and around Amory. This one sent in 12:53, so not less than 1 minute ago. Who sent this in? North of Tiger Mart and Hatley at 12:53:11. Taylor with this shot here. So this is in real time there in Hatley, what this looks like from our weather watcher there using the Mississippi Live weather app. I'll pop up that QR code so you can see that here. No, I say that. Let's pop that up. There we go. So you can see that. But this is what it looks like there in Hatley right now. South of that, near the Amory-Becker area, this picture coming in a few minutes ago, similar shot here sent in by Hope Again, you're going to see lots of twisty-turny stuff in clouds like this. That does not necessarily mean that that you're talking about a tornado or anything along those lines, but that is to say that there is turbulence there, and so something that we certainly recommend that we pay close attention to. So build your armor. Make sure you have multiple ways to find out if you're in the danger zone. You can see below me here, weather call, that alert that we talk all about all the time. One of the ways to do that, Mississippi Live Weather app should be on that list. There are some other apps there that work and are useful as well. A couple shots here from the Aberdeen area, about 1250 from Jana. We'll see if they're different or the same shot sent twice. Slightly different shots here from Jana there in Aberdeen, again, of some of the gusty winds that are approaching. Does not look like any damage at that location yet. Appreciate Jana for sharing these shots with us. And of course, at the bottom there, having the pool that I'm sure she'd rather be in. But the gray that you see there, strong gusty winds, again, approaching Aberdeen. Strongest part of this probably stays a little bit to the north and really north and east of Aberdeen is where the heaviest part of that one will be. Checking a couple other shots. We mentioned a minute ago a few reports. Let's go wider here. Up closer to the Tupelo area. This shot here, some crazy clouds. This coming in a few minutes ago, watching those storms developing, looking toward the south, and additional storms likely to be occurring here pretty soon. Appreciate Faith for sending that one in. Looks like that was technically yesterday there on that one. Let's make sure we keep it just now so we have the latest. And checking to see if we have damage. I do not see true damage pictures on any of these yet. But join the conversation. Share your pictures with us. We appreciate you all for doing that at this time. Kind of another shot here. Dime-sized hail in Vernon. This one a little delayed from earlier on, but this is an example of some of the hail that we had. Some dime-sized hail in Vernon. Doesn't look like we got the shot directly of that. By the way, if you have the largest hailstone picture, that is something, if you share with us that True Shield Roofing for hail in excess of 1 inch, largest hailstone picture submitted, $100 gift card to Walmart. Simple as that, making your bad day a little bit less bad if you have the largest one of the day. This shot here, now just looking at the wind, doing an excellent job showing how the damaging wind is expanding outward. I'm going to make this loop a little bit faster. There we are. And you can see now the red. See the red kind of expanding outward from that there? That's it. The reason it changed direction is because it went over top the radar site. Green meaning it's coming toward the radar, right? Like we always talk about. Red meaning it's going away. So once it's past the radar, it's going out there in kind of this ring in all directions. And so that is going to continue to spawn additional thunderstorms from time to time, cause wind damage. And maybe most importantly for some of you, it's going to knock the temperature back a notch, which is what we need. Now, you'll notice that if you look beyond that, you can kind of sort of see that ring up here a little farther north, right? Kind of where it changes more to gray. That tells you that this is not as strong as what we have coming out from the south and west. And we talked about this a lot last night, that we were going to have some of these storms get to one, starts coming through, and then all the thunderstorms develop from there. And so that's what that is. And so as we look over the entire region here, it's really the only bogey that's of significance as of yet. Looking at velocity, looking at the precipitation mode, though, we have some new ones down here that are going to be moving toward Macon, locations back into Pickens County as well. Let's get a storm track on those. Those actually have some movement. The reason, by the way, I have not done much of a storm track, and we'll get up to Starkville here in a second for you, is because storms have not been particularly movement friendly. By that I mean they just haven't been moving. I don't know that that's going to be moving a full 40 miles an hour though. This batch is moving a little slower, so I'll go 26. So no severe thunderstorm warnings or anything officially with these storms down here approaching Pickens County, but just kind of a heads up that this will be kind of moving through spots where it could start causing some spotty wind damage here eventually. So looking ahead on this, we'll track that out a little farther. Give you kind of an early heads up. Starkville, listen, there's a storm over you. That's not what I'm talking about here. This is kind of the next batch beyond that, about 1250 or so. Looking at Aliceville 107, Carrollton 124, Sugarlock 133, Macon about 144. Some gusty winds with that. not impossible that at some point it produces some strong to severe weather. We'll check our camera there in the Macon area, again, provided by Fastnet, our friends there at Fastnet, sponsoring these cameras here as part of our coordination with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Macon, we're looking, this one's still kind of looking a northerly direction. You know what we're going to do? We're going to flip this all the way around, and we're going to end up looking directly into, no, we're not looking into a tower, looking south, but southeast we will. Look at that. We actually have a viewpoint on it. Okay, so we'll be able to see those storms as they come in. Not super impressive yet, but we'll be able to have a vantage point of that as those come into town there. Over in Adenton, in the Starkville area, obviously things looking a little bit more rough. This shot here looking kind of sort of east. That's looking into the storms that are kind of approaching Starkville. Overshot it, double clicked it. Okay, not doing any sort of automatic tracking. There we are. So those are those thunderstorms sort of approaching the Starkville area. Some heavy rainfall with that at this point. Still, I'd say sub-severe. Well, I'm going to change my shot here for a moment because it allows me to kind of have both things on camera at the same time. But you can see here where we kind of have this inset on the radar. Maybe it's not as obvious. Let's see if we zoom it in. There we go. It's a little bit bigger. But obviously that storm is just a little bit east of town where it's the heaviest right now, kind of expanding there into Starkville. Some gusty winds obviously possible. And so some tree branches, things like that, we'll have to watch. The camera's in the Starkville area. Let's try that. And there we go. Again, the rain already falling in Starkville. You can see a Highway 12 west of Blackjack Road where it's just really starting to go. Looks like the road's not even fully wet yet, so it's really starting to pick up there in the last moment or two. 90 at the latest update there at the airport. Feels like 106. Dew point is 79. That's not always the most accurate of our reporting stations, but that's fairly rough looking. And a southbound shot there, kind of showing the same part of the thunderstorm, just different vantage point from what we were looking at a moment ago there in Starkville. That is the rain cool there. So as you can see, this is near Blackjack there, and I think Highway 12 where that camera is, kind of an opposite shot from what we're looking at back here in the Adenton area. So we were looking south one direction, now we're kind of looking back into that. So this one's still developing and could have, again, some 30 to maybe 40 mile per hour wind gusts with that. Sliding up to Houston, giving us kind of a wider shot of some of the storms ongoing out there. Looking back toward the south and west, not a lot at this moment here moving in, but Amory has become more active here in the last couple minutes because that storm is kind of moving in. Now, it does look like National Weather Service has gone ahead and allowed this warning to expire on time at 1 o'clock. Heavy rainfall sort of moving in. And as I'm just kind of looking back here through some of your discussion in our chat back and forth, obviously most of the complaints have been about loud thunderstorms, hunkering down. Mike is fine, appreciate that. You're good on audio on the stream, no doubling there. Good to hear that. Pontotoc watching, Faulkner watching, Greenwood watching, Belmont watching. Again, a lot of lightning out there as I'm just kind of going back through some of your comments. And heavy rain remains kind of the biggest issue that any of these storms are producing, but spotty wind damage certainly a possibility as well. So any severe storms in Tupelo today, very possibly. I think that's one of the headlines that we don't want to overlook with this here is that we very possibly could have some severe storms with this. You know, one of the reports coming in just a second ago was some hail reported in the Palmetto community. So right kind of middle of your screen there as that moved through on the southwest side of the Tupelo area. Our camera there, if that's a fairly fresh report coming in from our Emily Leonard, I'm sure that passing along what you guys have said in the chat there. That's the thunderstorm we're looking here out of our Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling camera in the Tupelo area. So let's adjust this camera shot perhaps just a little bit. I think we're as far out as we go. As we go to the right here, you can kind of see This is the, oh, it's behind the logo. There we go. So there's that. That's probably whatever small hail that has kind of working its way sort of ahead of that there. So is it possible that this could produce some strong winds? Yeah, it could produce some wind damage. Remember ice storm. Have I said ice storm today yet? Okay, every single time we have severe weather for the next 3 years, I'm going to say the words ice and storm. Not trying to do PTSD on anybody, but the reality is that trees are weaker, and over time, I have them on my driveway, you have them on yours, some of them are going to fall. And so that's the concern, is that we're going to have some of those that probably end up falling from time to time, even in this kind of weather here. I do see Shiloh and Friends Production asking, is there any tornado threat? Not of any kind of significance. I would say it's not zero, but I would say the tornado threat is well under 1%, well under 0.5%. It's just one of those, like, about the time I say no, it's like, oh, something weird just happened. So I would say still very, very low likelihood of us seeing tornadoes in this scenario here. A much bigger likelihood of this, which is what you guys have been sending in. That's lots and lots of pictures of dark storm clouds coming in below these thunderstorms here. You're going to see a lot of these very tumultuous looking clouds as these move in. Appreciate that shot there. That one coming in a moment ago from Vernon, Alabama, taken by Hayden Stewart. This is one of the things that I'm always concerned about. At the Blue Bluff campground, Shaw Stewart sending us this shot here. Don't be on the lake when these come through. You don't need a tornado to have some real issues. So just don't be on the lake, because those aren't whitecaps yet. But as that moves in and moves through, you're going to have some issues. And maybe they're just on a dock. Hopefully that's the case there. But always a little bit of a kind of scary situation in that regard. And another shot here, again, that rain-cooled air in Hamilton. Braxton sending us this shot using the Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available for all your various devices there. That's, again, going to be your heavy rainfall, your hail, all that stuff kind of pushing its way forward. So appreciate all of you guys for sharing it. By the way, when you send us these pictures, they make their way directly to the National Weather Service. So if you have wind damage, something like that, to send along with us, please, of course, share that with us, and we can then, of course, share that with them. It's certainly very, very helpful and allows us to keep people safe when we're starting to talk about active and severe weather. So share your pictures with us. Like, subscribe, follow, all the different things. And the easiest way to share those pictures using our iOS and Android apps there. I'm going to show a couple more pictures, and then we'll get back here over to Mama Justice Doppler radar. Most of the shots just of dark clouds. I don't really see a whole lot of pictures of damage. So another shot here, again, along a water feature. Let me find out the location on that here as well. In Aberdeen there, of basically what it looks like once the batch of strong wind comes overhead, you get the rolling of the clouds, and that's what that definitely looks like at this point there. Now, as far as Aberdeen proper is concerned right now, you're in good shape. This is more bark than bite for you, and I would say largely the case as well. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning we'll touch on here in a brief moment. In fact, if we go back over to Mama Justice Doppler radar here, our severe thunderstorm warnings we talked about expiring for the Aberdeen area, and the strongest of that thunderstorm moving northward. You probably caught that right under the leading edge of that, what we call sometimes a shelf cloud. That's moved through Aberdeen. The worst of this is staying north, and probably will stay north. And I think you might have done the best thing you can do today. You get the rain-cooled air, and you don't get the bad stuff that could go along with it. But new severe thunderstorm warning issued because of that potential to have something a little more rough out here for Solent and Beaverton and Detroit, locations in that direction there. Again, tracking the potential for active and severe weather for you. Give me a moment here. I'm going to do a little push alert here on our app for folks kind of in the path of this. So give me just a moment here to try to, man, one of the cool things about our app is you can see the different locations where people are monitored. There are people out there in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico getting alerts from us today. So kind of crazy. We'll go and send it to everybody. If I weren't a one-man band on this today, I'd be a little more specific, but we're going to send another push by itself. So you should get a little bing on the app. That's just reminding folks that we do have some severe weather out there this afternoon. That's what that bing is, that alert coming at the top right there right now. That's how fast, by the way, the app is, that we can click it and it's to your phone that fast. Number one reason why we pay so much money for development and maintaining this app is because of that. It's just so stinking fast. Velocity here, the wind, Beaverton, east of Soligent. That's where we again have one of those downbursts occurring right now, and that's spreading out. So some spotty wind damage along 278 possible east of Beaverton, probably already occurring. And that's one of the unfortunate things about this kind of setup here, is that from time to time, we don't get a whole lot of heads up before we have some issues with this. It just kind of plops it down and then does what it's going to do there. So gusty winds certainly likely with that. And again, severe thunderstorm warnings for Marion, Lamar, and Fayette counties in Alabama until 1:45 p.m. That's not to say that the rest of these storms aren't producing spotty damage. I will say that the Pontotoc storms here are about as heavy as they have looked outside of this warning. This could end up being our next bogey that we're watching, because this, if we're being honest, we've already kind of had some lighter showers out here mixing things out in Shannon, back toward Nettleton earlier, where we had one report of wind damage. So certainly watching that. Hey, Emily, are you watching the chat with people asking questions behind the scenes? I don't know if you're doing that there. I'm looking for a nod, yes or no. Okay. Can you give me any reports on what they've been kind of talking about on that? Just to kind of give me a heads up of what you're hearing. Okay, I'll go ahead and come to you real quick. You can just kind of give me a sort of rundown of maybe a few of the things that you have seen. Our Emily Leonard again joining us here from North Tupelo. It's about to take your shot, Emily. No.
I hear you. All right. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat. A lot of people hearing thundering. We can hear thundering here outside of our house. Sorry, I'm leaning over to my computer if you're wondering what I'm doing. A lot of people with hearing thunder, which obviously means lightning. Some folks wanting to know maybe a little bit more south what they can expect today. Mostly though, Detroit, Alabama, very windy, which I imagine it is pretty windy out there right now as well. A couple more comments coming in. Hail in Beaverton, Alabama. So just a few reports of just kind of your typical severe thunderstorm warning stuff. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be anything too crazy at this point, which is obviously good news, but still, it's just enough to kind of interrupt your day.
Yeah. It's the interrupting day kind of stuff is probably going to continue on this. I bet the hail in Beaverton's important, and you don't have NWS chat back there, do you?
I do not.
Okay, we're going to need to get you that, because that's one we need to pass along the Weather Service. I'll type it out and I'll get it in there. But I appreciate that, our Emily Leonard, and appreciate you guys for sharing those reports with us here. So if you give me a moment to go on a sidebar, I need to make sure that they know that there's at least some hail in Beaverton. You know what? Looks like James Bishop got that one across the Weather Service just in time as well. Man, he's paying attention. Hardest working man in television weather or weather in general in Mississippi. James Bishop of the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. I'm telling you right now, I work hard. James is on it. Okay, so 278, moving across 278 there north of Beaverton toward Hayes Ford. Henson Spring potentially maybe moving that direction. Let me adjust before we go too much further here and double check that. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So because that's produced a little bit of hail, let's double check and see using our True Shield hail swath whether or not that's increasing a little bit there. We're going to use instantaneous hail on this. Not showing a lot yet. It doesn't always show a lot in this kind of a day, but it is getting a little stronger there. Let's look 3D on this. And one of the problems with looking 3D this close to the radar site is that it cuts off the top of the storm. But man, that one toward Wayside. Hey, Ewan, we're going to look at this for you here in just a second. I want to try to keep a train of thought going for a moment. This is the one here we're going to watch go northward there around Beaverton, dropping some of that hail. But this one out just a little east, Winfield as well, that's got some severe hail potentially with it. And if that goes through the collapse, that could have some issues. We'll start off with this one. Actually, let's take both at the same time. If you can bear the fact I'm be a little wider. Also, looks like up there north of Florence, some of those getting a little stronger too. So by the way, okay, new thing that you're going to see in the Mississippi Live Weather app that I just got on my alert for Tupelo. Let's talk about what this means. It says special weather statement. It's one of those options we went ahead and turned on, and it's kind of a sort of pre-severe thunderstorm warning. It might become a severe thunderstorm warning. It might not become a severe thunderstorm warning. So for an earlier alert to possibly having damage, whether you'll get what's called a special weather statement. The National Weather Service just put one of those out a moment ago there for where I'm at in the Tupelo area, and probably some other folks as well. So if you get those alerts, it's not a severe thunderstorm warning. It's kind of an earlier step before that there. So those are now something we added 2 days ago in the Mississippi Live Weather app. So just know that's an additional alert, and at some point we'll have a discussion about how you can toggle those on and off if it's something that you have not done before. Let's go ahead and cut into these storms. The one there near Bobo, again, south of Winfield there is one we're really watching. Yeah, look, I mean, okay, first off, just see how much higher that is. I haven't cut into the other one yet, but that has hail probably 25,000 feet. So that's very reasonable that that's producing some damaging hail. And the storm that's over top of Beaverton has gone through the collapsing phase, so it is probably not. So this Bobo storm is one to watch. So Winfield, let's talk specifically about you for a moment. Winfield, you can see directly south of this. Give me a moment to kind of take it back here, get an idea on. It's not moving a lot. You might still, even in Winfield, get lucky. These are going to pop up and die in some cases right where they're at or within 3 to 5 miles. I would definitely say if you're here in Winfield, kind of heads up that this is sort of generally heading your direction, but I would say that down there in Wayside and right along Alabama Highway 43, maybe just a little bit west of Highway 43, you can see three-dimensionally here, it's holding that big hail. This red blob up here is probably some 1-inch hail. And the thing is it might be 1 inch up there and melt on its way down to the surface, but that melting process pulls heat out of the air. That process of pulling heat out of the air then allows it to cool the air, makes it rush down faster, cold air sinks, warm air rises. All of that to say, it's going to probably kick out a 60, 65 mile per hour wind gust out of that one there near Bobo, just a little bit to the west of that within the next few minutes here. So while it doesn't look terribly impressive there along County Road 36 yet, it probably will look more impressive here in a few minutes. That's going to probably expand and capture the south side there of Winfield up toward Guin as well, and Gwin. Guin and Guin will both probably get a little bit of that as it moves toward you. So heads up, that one has prompted part of the reason this severe thunderstorm warning is in place. Now I want to check our True Shield hail swath again, see if that's gotten a little worse. That one's not quite there yet. But if I check our severe threats, I'll bet that, again, not as impressed yet, but I think those are both going to catch up to what we just saw three-dimensionally a moment ago there. Yeah, that one's still in the developing phase. Looking outside of this here, double checking kind of where we're at. Emily also mentioned this a minute ago, folks want to know about down south. The reason we have not talked as much about down south, let's go back south a little more, is because if you just let the peak threats guide your eyeballs, right? The purples are where we're looking at more hail, and subsequently in this case, wind is that the combination of hail and wind. It's kind of assessing both those at the same time. We don't have a lot of wind shear showing up. This is what we look for when we start to look for tornadoes. So if I'm not talking about it, it's because I'm thinking about it sometimes during tornado weather. But just know if we're doing tornado coverage and you start to see the pinks show up, that you just at home are looking at enough information to go, well, hold on. Do we possibly have a tornado? And then I'll probably be analyzing it. So you'll sometimes see that before I say it, because when I see the pink show up, I'm going to try to double check to make sure everything kind of lines up the way we would expect it there. I need to probably get my phone straight up to Emily. Emily, if you get a chance, I'll have you come in here and just grab my phone. And if you can take some of the pictures that people are sending in and stuff, I might have you just send those to me and send those in. And for folks at home, again, I'll pop this up a million times today using the app. I'm gonna make you come all the way over here to get it. Come on, little girl. Wave hi. See, your head barely showed up. Okay, take it to mom, please. Thank you. Okay, so clearing that off there. I'm a terrible dad. Let's come back over to the precipitation mode. Most of these storms are below severe limits. Some of them are going to produce damaging wind. I'm watching this one southwestern Itawamba County. We're getting a little stronger. Let me check the camera in Smithville. It has been down recently. Let me see if it's come back up. That's still down. But we can go down to Amory to get a shot in Amory of what this looks like there. And again, in the heavy rainfall. So I say we can get a shot of Amory. Not a lot of visibility there. But you can see what this has done. Look at that temperature. Was 90 feeling like 100 and yuck. And now it's 73 feeling like 70. There's some positives, right? And that's going to be our positive in this situation here. I'm going through all of our cameras. Macon showing our storm getting closer. Again, these are non-severe thunderstorms, but this does address the what's going on south question someone was asking about a minute ago there. That's one of the thunderstorms developing there closer to the Macon area. 92 feels like 102, so a lot of fuel laying around there. And appreciate the folks there at Fastnet for sponsoring our camera there in the Macon area. I think that one will be one that comes with a grouping of thunderstorms that eventually could make it up toward the Columbus area. Looks like the GTR reporting station not coming in, but everybody's hot and steamy likely there in the Golden Triangle at this moment as well. Maybe a slightly wider shot coming from Ackerman, a little bit farther out. And this camera is still facing kind of southeast, so it's looking the right direction where storms eventually could come in a little bit later on as we go into this afternoon and eventually into this evening. Hopefully storms diminishing a lot more by this evening. So Fayette County, Marion County, Lamar County, Alabama under a severe thunderstorm warning for a couple of thunderstorms here. It's really not just one now, it's a kind of a grouping of thunderstorms on this boundary that's expanding out. We've talked about this multiple times. Again, no tornado threat today. These are largely disorganized thunderstorms, but as I kind of illustrate on here for a moment, let's go ahead and we'll draw on this. This big arc here points to the fact that you had kind of one spot and then it has moved out in all directions from there. This rain-cooled air that continues to expand and come with its own issues there as it does so. So a lot of rain-cooled air out there. That's the positive. The negative is we're going to continue to see storm development on the edges of this. And if there's a place where it kind of intersects with some rain-cooled air up north here, I still think Fulton. We're going to have to watch it for you. And then this batch expanding back toward Hamilton, Alabama, and Phil Campbell. That's air that has not been really touched to this point, and as a result could continue to probably develop some strong severe thunderstorms in some of those locations going forward. Checking our discussion here, a lot of the pictures that we are getting in at this point, all kind of sort of dark clouds, heavy rainfall. Appreciate you guys for sharing those using the Mississippi Live weather app. This is a shot here. Double check my location on this. Showing north from the dome in Smithville. A lot of heavy rainfall kind of coming in there on some of those shots. But let's say this. I know that you're always, for good reason, very weather aware in the Smithville area. No tornadoes out of what we're seeing here today. Approaching the state line. This from Hal. A shot there, kind of some of the dark clouds approaching the state line. Let me check the location on that. So that is from northeastern Monroe County where that one is showing up there. So some shots there. We had the shots from Smithville a moment ago. Let's see if we have any shots out here from Lamar County. A couple of pictures here from Lamar County underneath when that storm was kind of coming through a little earlier. Let's check the northern part of the county up here closer to, I think that's closer to Detroit there. Lightning, and it looks like everyone trying to stay inside. Even the cat saying, I don't want to be near that window. We always want to kind of stay away from windows and doors and things like that in this sort of situation here. And for folks that are there near Detroit, you continue under this severe thunderstorm warning. The heaviest part of this is kind of sort of through where you're at this point. So you're on the downswing there. That part is actually kind of expanding more toward Tremont at this time. So Tremont, Academy, Fulton, Clay, kind of in the path of this. I'm going to say 25 miles per hour, and that might be kind of overdoing it. And we'll expand our track out just a little bit more because, again, it's not just the individual part of this, it's the kind of the rain-cooled air with this. And we'll increase our width just a little bit. And there we go. So again, most of the folks, all the folks I'm tracking here on this are not under a severe thunderstorm warning, but this will probably continue expanding that way. I say that, obviously there are other thunderstorms that could get to you a little quicker from Abney back to Cardsville as well. But I think it's the combination of the two of these that when I'm up here and say near the Clay community at 1:53 or Fulton at 2 o'clock, that combination of the two of those, maybe Tremont there eventually, 1:43 to 2 o'clock. That's where we could potentially have maybe additional severe thunderstorm warnings prompted if this kind of continues heading that way. But these are fairly disorganized, and I want to emphasize this as loudly and clearly as I can. I have not really shown this graphic today, our severe risk graphic, which shows kind of the primary risk zone for severe weather, that level 1 out of 5 risk. But this is the tornado graphic for today. I'll go nationwide. As you can see, that is up toward Nebraska. That's where there's a limited tornado threat today, but no tornado threat here. For us, it's spotty wind damage possibility, maybe a few hailstones, though that threat, at least by the Storm Prediction Center, they don't have a terribly significant. We have not had a lot of reports beyond really pea-size hail, but I would say it's also not impossible that we could get some of those kind of reports there. Let's go ahead and pull up our chat, our discussion where you guys are kind of talking with us back and forth here, asking about different locations. Sent you a picture on the page. Okay, we can get the pictures off the page, but I'll tell you right now, using the Mississippi Live Weather app, because I have them all aggregated and they're mapped and everything, that is truly the easiest way to share your pictures. Unfortunately, there's an overlap on my graphic and the most recent comment, so I apologize for that. And that might mess up the QR code for iOS devices. But pick up that Mississippi Live Weather app, and certainly that's what we recommend. I recommend. I think it does a good job of ensuring that you have the information you need and you're able to share your pictures with us. Free and available for all those different devices there. Let's put that chat back up. Oh, it's going to default and pop off because it got mad at what I did there. That's fine. I think it's 4. Yeah. Okay, Oxford. Not yet. Eventually. Watching from New Albany. You remind me, New Albany, we do have camera there. I have not checked it. New Albany, Guntown, some of our newest cameras as part of the North Mississippi Storm Chaser Network. Some wicked looking clouds there, but this is one of those situations where looks and reality tend to be a little bit different on what you might be experiencing. So let me go JKLM and New Albany. That's where we're at. We'll make sure this is zoomed out as far as it can. Yep. So we're looking southeast, sort of into some of the thunderstorms. I'm going to pan it over to the right here a little bit. Interested why this is doing just little jumps. Boy, James, I noticed this the other day. Oh, there we are. You have to turn the sensitivity way up to have any chance of moving this one. Oh, no. Anyway, we're looking New Albany there. And you can see, again, some of the storm clouds with this. That is not New Albany. Is that New Albany? Oh, there's a big delay on it. Okay, I see what's happening here. I've got a delay on New Albany. Okay, we'll have to fix that. But yeah, looking towards some of those clouds as storms approach. Let's get back over to Mama Justice Doppler radar and kind of looking at the heaviest part of those storms kind of approaching New Albany. We have not talked as much about that. Again, looking back toward Endville from Pontotoc, moving northward there. give you some times as this is moving a lot more slowly up here. I want to say this might be moving 15 miles per hour. I might be too fast at 16 miles per hour. We'll double check that speed. Yeah, no, that's probably too fast at 16 miles an hour. Telling you that New Albany, well, we showed New Harmony about 150, Enfield 133. So pretty much now lightning, heavy rainfall. I mean, that's what we've got coming toward the house. So I think we'll get that required power disruption here in a couple minutes. That's just what happened. But we do appreciate all of the folks that work for these power companies, power providers, to make sure that we can give the information you need to keep your family safe, but also make sure that they get the power back on as soon as they can. No severe thunderstorm warnings with this, thankfully, anytime soon, but certainly watching some potential there. Now, I need to see if I can get our chat with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers back up and going here. Emily, if you have an update here real quick, you can kind of tell me what else you've kind of seen coming through the chat, what you've heard from folks, whatever that is. I'll be able to get logged in over here real quick, and I need to do that. So I'm gonna bring in our Emily Leonard here. I need you to stand up and be ready. Let's go. If possible, please.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I was just posting a video from Mark, who sent us in some video from near Starkville, headed from Longview to Starkville. It's about a minute-long video. If you watch it, if you start about 38 seconds in, you can see them driving, and you can really see that rain begin to come down, and it happened really fast. Kind of a cool video to watch. You can go to Matt's Facebook page for that. Other things that we're watching, a lot of questions, obviously, everybody always asks.
Hey, real quick, before you go on, Emily. Hey, you can
what,
drop
when,
that.
and where.
Hey,
right
Emily,
now we're hearing thunder, lightning.
hear me.
I just got my alert from the app saying rain approaching our area here in northern Lee County, happening pretty soon as well. I took out my earpiece so you can't hear you.
Okay, hey,
There you
real
go.
quick. For videos, drop it in a clip. Drop it in a clip. Put it as the top item below the boxes, and I can get it in. So if you drop the video in the clip and put
okay.
lower third on it, you can do that, and I get them on the air that way. Anyway, go ahead and continue what you're saying. I just wanted to say that. Pull your earpiece back out because I know you're getting double of me.
No. Okay. No, I think I got it figured out. Some of this is training on my part, y'all. I'm learning as we go. All right, going through this chat, we got thunder and lightning in Corinth, got thunder and lightning in Pontotoc. People saying look at 22 in Sherman, might give you a better view of some things. People asking about the Carolina community. A lot of people asking about Alcorn County. I know we've got a lot of events for the 4th of July scheduled for not only today, but into the weekend, but a lot of those festivities start today as well.
I'm going to give you something to put it on. You might be able to, that's just off camera. Let's see.
Things are going great, guys.
Everything stretches.
Woo.
That one. All the rest of this stretches. I unplugged her. Sorry about that. Okay, but I think we fixed it to where she'll be able to have her laptop in front of her. So I apologize that some of this is on the job figuring this out. Once she's back and going, we'll bring her back in here in a second. We'll have to get her to, hey, Penny or Leo, tell her that she's going to have to click on the camera in the lower left, which is duplicated a million times. Actually, tell her to trade me places here in a minute, and I'll get her camera back up and going. So I'll let her kind of deliver what other kind of news and information you guys have had. We do have a picture that came in here from some damage. This was a couple of minutes ago from our partners with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. I'll go ahead and give you this, Emily. I'll bring you in here for a moment. We'll take down my lower third. It's going to pop up another one here in a second. But anyway, so that's the information. That's the picture. That's the information. I'll get your camera going. I'll be right back.
Well, he left it up to me now, you guys. All right, I'm going to take this out real quick. All right, this coming in from James Bishop, as Matt mentioned, one of the hardest working people in weather in Mississippi. You can see this tree down on the road. I'm not used to using a green screen, so y'all bear with me. This is what happens. Matt mentioned it. The storms and the trees have... Your mic isn't working. Storms and the trees have weakened because of the ice storm and drought, and so this is what's going to happen. Be careful if you're driving. I would recommend not driving if you're having to go down a road like this. But this is what our driveway looks like. Making sure he's not needing me. All right, James sending this in. Priestville Road, just west of Gatman. Yeah, that's not a good thing. All right, also James sending in Guntown and New Albany turn. Let's see, Hale in Beaverton, no size on that one. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I'm frankly scared to click anything at this point or I'm going to mess it up. There we go. Forgot about my microphone, you guys. Let's see. Again, if you have any pictures, send them in using the Mississippi Live Weather app. I'm kind of cutting in and out here, at least in my ear, driving me crazy. I'm trying to find something as we go. But this is not working well. This is why they don't let news people attempt to do any kind of technology. I think I said hashtag not an engineer earlier today, and just a few minutes ago. Oh, I can hear the thunder outside of our house. Shouldn't leave me to my own devices here.
I know.
I was going to mess something up.
So, no, you did just fine. Okay, so here's the deal. I have it set up back there where you should be able to move the computer back and forth. Everything's up and streaming again. So, okay. She hates it when I do this. She hates it when we're in the middle of it. It's like, let's just try it. You can in life either be perfect or you can innovate. And innovation is always messy. I'd much prefer to innovate. And hopefully you guys appreciate that aspect of it as well. Appreciate North Mississippi Storm Chasers for getting out there and the information they've sent in with us. Certainly it is active today, but our only warning at this time, I'm gonna double check this here, continues to be out here in northern Lamar, southern Marion counties. I mentioned this a little bit ago for you in Winfield and Guin and Pikeville, looking at some of the wind on this here. Certainly some strong gusty winds possible out of this, but it does not look as impressive as it did a little bit ago. Our True Shield hail swath, you never really got super high on that storm that went through Bobo. It must have collapsed right where it was, or at least some of that hail melted out before it got down to the surface, but some strong gusty winds still possible in that spot as well. But yeah, what are you guys seeing here? I appreciate y'all being on Emily's side on this. She lives a hard life having to deal with whatever I'm going to throw at. We used to joke that my idea for the kids is I was going to make them tornado proof, because we were always going to try something new, and by the end of it all, they were going to be tornado proof. So as I bring Emily back in here for a second, sorry that I'm working on the tornado proofing of you.
Yeah, I don't like this too much. I'm not used to this.
At least this part of it. It'll make a lot more sense a week in as opposed to day 3, right? Okay, so can you see what you need to see on the screen below you there?
Not yet. You haven't given me a chance to even look.
Okay, so but you know, just kind of looking at what people are kind of saying in the chat. Everything good?
I'm looking.
Okay.
See, guys, when he says technical things, it's easy for him. For us other older people, it gets a little more dicey.
Okay.
Well, I don't know where you put everything. Okay, I'll figure it out. I got it.
Oh, I know what happened. The monitors probably all... Okay, yeah.
Oh, that is what happened. I've got 2 monitors.
The monitors all moved when it unplugged. Yeah. So anyway, the monitors, you have to put all stuff back.
I got it. Wait.
Okay.
I think I got it. Okay.
Okay.
We're creating memories, guys. And
core memories.
We all look great in red. Core memories here from the beginning. So yeah, really appreciate it. Glad you guys have my back.
I thought you had something more than that.
At all. There we go. No, not really.
Okay. Well, we'll talk in a little bit when you do. I appreciate it. I'll let you wave me down when we have something else here in a little bit. Thank you for not divorcing me. Okay, so current time is 1:39. Severe thunderstorm warning continues here for Lamar County for about another 6 minutes. What's coming out right now, the National Weather Service is putting out what they call special weather statements. And you can get those special weather statements now in the Mississippi Live Weather app. They come through. It's kind of a pre-severe thunderstorm warning, might not become one, but it still could be impactful. Thus, they put out what's called a special weather statement. The storm approaching Macon has prompted one such special weather statement. No official severe thunderstorm warning with it here. When I was in Texas, we used to call these strong thunderstorm advisories, or significant weather alerts, or there's a bunch of different names that you can use to describe it, but not officially necessarily a severe storm. But this storm approaching is one of the heavier ones we have. I'm going to change the angle on it just a little bit. We'll get you time there from Macon, because it has Macon on there at the time, but I want to make sure we've got it the right angle so we can get the right time. We'll take that a little farther out. Not too terribly swift on the movement. Speed will go 20 miles per hour, and that might actually be a little bit too fast. We don't get any other locations other than Macon showing up on that one there. And though I'm going to angle it just enough to maybe capture Sugar Lock in it, because I do think you'll probably have something there. Give me a moment. Okay, there we go. So Calyx about 147. So I mean, it's over you right now, basically. Sugar Lock about 156, Macon 206, and about 212 there in the Macedonia community. We'll look 3D on this thunderstorm here to kind of look how much hail and whatever it's kind of holding aloft. And this is nowhere near as impressive as some of the other thunderstorms that we have had. And this is why 3D makes a difference. Because we can take a look at it and go, oh, it's stretched up to 30,000 feet. It's probably damaging. In this case, that's not the case. If I slice through this here, we show it up to maybe 15 to 20,000 feet. I mean, the heaviest of this is maybe 10,000 feet. So, I mean, I don't think this is producing damaging wind or anything. Looking at that, that's why 3D is valuable, important, and why we use it so often, is to kind of get a look at that kind of stuff. The storm's coming in from Tuscaloosa, maybe a little heavier, and then we got to go up to Fulton here in a second. So Gordo, watching this for you there, moving toward Coker and some folks like that. 16-ish miles per hour, we'll say the movement. That might be just a little slow. It gives you kind of some times there on the screen. You want to do a live shot outside on the back porch, Emily? Oh, that look was a no. That was a hard no. Okay. It's finally started raining here at the Law Pond house. Does not look super. The wind's not really blowing those trees around much. We'll come look at the storms up here, and then we'll go to Fulton. As we slide this up here to the northeast, that makes sense because we're kind of north Tupelo. And a good example, this is pretty similar to some of the storms we had south there. You see how kind of small some of those storms are. Some of the others around, like the one there closer to Sherman, this other one that's just on the northeast side of Pontotoc. Those are both a little bit heavier, a little bit stronger, a little bit taller. But I'd say the tallest are a couple of these that we have back out here into Itawamba County. Let's slice through some of these weaker returns to get the kind of the heaviest stuff. And that kind of reveals what we've been talking about. We've kind of mentioned a lot of the folks in Itawamba County that this was going to move toward you. And that's where we do have some of these blobs up high. What are these? Not brains in the sky. They are hail, as we're kind of cutting through and showing hail aloft in the thunderstorm. Because you look at this. That's crazy. Okay, let's go back to, is it Drawbox? There we are. Okay, like that one right there. If you look directly below that, there's nothing. So this is the genius of Mama Justice Doppler, is that we can see some of these hail returns right away. I broke my box. Let me fix the box, then we'll come in really close. So draw box. There we go. Okay, now let's come in and take a look at where that hail is about to fall. Cardsville. Actually, that might end up going over top of I-22. It's that pink in the middle there that we're looking at. That is probably some hail. Let's see how high it is. Yeah, and so that the heaviest part of it's about 10,000 feet up, but that's going to be hail when it hits the ground in a second. And then this 15 to 20 could potentially be severe hail on this. So that's 20, actually that's 20 to 25,000 feet. So probably talking about some severe hail on this. This would be, in my opinion, the storm that's most likely to become our next severe thunderstorm warning. So where specifically we're talking about, this is right over Tilden, but it might wait until it gets to I-22 up here before it drops that hail. So kind of heads up that there's going to be, I would say it's reasonable to say our next severe thunderstorm warning, if there is one, will be from this thunderstorm, and it's probably going to produce some hail. So let us know in the comments if that's what you're seeing. I see someone mentioning the wind picking up in the Fairview community. Fairview kind of ahead of this. The reason the wind is picking up there is the rain-cooled air running ahead of this, right? That's what's up there in Fairview right now. This rain-cooled air, what we call outflow, kind of spreading northward there. It's kind of a multiple of them colliding over around Moorville. But that's what's already made it to Fairview. But the strongest part of the actual storm, and where we're most likely to see some severe wind and hail, is with that batch there near Beans Ferry as that moves northward. So still some time. Let's see if it's picked up yet on our TruShield hail tracker. It has. See, that's what this has been catching. It's been catching some of the stuff above the surface, potentially. So I'll be moving over I-22 here pretty quickly with some of that rain-cooled air and all the issues that go along with it. Our camera there in Fulton, still along I-22 on the south side of town, starting to show the rain picking up. Saw a pretty good cloud to ground lightning strike on the camera looking sort of east there, kind of toward the Walmart there in Fulton. That's definitely starting to move around a little bit more.
I think I got that video in cues.
Got the video and cues right there at the top. Okay, I'll let you talk about it. Did you put your audio on it or put mine on it? Okay. Okay, well then I'll go ahead and talk about it. So now this video coming in here a few minutes ago, this from Longview to Starkville, a video coming in from Mark, showing again some of the thunderstorms there, the lightning, the heavy rainfall going along with that. Anything else you want to add?
Move it to about 39 seconds or so.
Okay, hold on a moment. Okay.
You listen, you can really hear the rain start to hit.
Ah, yeah.
Wait.
I wonder if there's a little hail mixed in with that.
Mark said that the wind gusts were about 40 miles an hour or so.
Okay. Appreciate Mark for sharing that with us. I'm going to turn the audio up on just a little bit more. Not that anybody necessarily needs to hear that wind and hail, but appreciate that video coming in from Mark. You can share your videos with us in the Mississippi Live Weather app as well. There's a video tab. In saying that, it is not a native video tab, so I need to check and make sure that it is doing as it is supposed to do. So give me a moment here to check. And Emily, if you can't, you're not logged in, we can see the switcher. I will get you set up with how to get in to the videos that people are sending in, because yeah, we do have quite a few that people have sent in there. Wonder if I can share that. Can I share that on Dropbox? Nope. We'll have to figure out another solution on that. I'll have to figure out a copy solution. Put that on my list. Always working towards something. But the heaviest part of this, again, getting closer to Fulton at this time. Current time is 1:49. I do believe our last severe thunderstorm warning expired at 1:45. So yes, we now, for the first time in a couple hours, have 0 severe thunderstorm warnings officially in place. I'm going to keep the coverage going for a few more minutes here. I just want to make sure we don't start to see that we don't end up getting a warning there for Itawamba County on that. I think it's possible that could happen. Looking at storms up here closer to Corinth on this wider shot, showing a few there. We'll go check a couple different cameras here. We'll use Boonville. Looking out there towards some of those storms. And again, that's actually, I think, looking more south. I say that. Let's double check here. I've not learned my Boonville directions perfectly yet on the camera. Now that's a little more east. Okay, so let's swing this around toward the north and showing some of those cameras, some of those shots there of the storms kind of up there into Alcorn County, sort of developing. Certainly pretty good towering cumulus clouds on those. You could see that. I'll try to get to where it's not behind me for a moment. Oh, overshot it. But anyway, you can see how pretty sharp. So these are still in the development phase. Every time it's kind of crisp, you get the white crisp next to the blue, and it's not fuzzy. You can tell that that's one that's developing, that's getting a little bit stronger. Up in Iuka, our newest camera sponsored here on Mississippi Live. Appreciate Farmers Merchants Bank for coming alongside of us here, sponsor a few of the places where you can watch us on the 24/7 channel, as well, for latest information in Iuka, Tupelo, Boonville, and Fulton, I think. That got that on right before we came on live today, and so appreciate Farmers and Merchants Bank for coming alongside of us here in Iuka. Again, glad the camera's back up and going. It was with the power outages earlier this week, we had some issues there. I'll show you Guntown here in a minute. Guntown's got a pretty decent shot as well. So this is looking southeast towards some of those storms. If we look back toward the east in Iuka, we're looking right through a tower because that's what we do. So look back toward the storms kind of developing west of town. And see on a farther shot here, these don't look quite as impressive. They're a little fuzzier. This is what I was talking about. Okay, now hold on a second. I am in Iuka, right? Is Iuka running that far behind? Boy, we're going to have to do some work here, y'all. Give me 20 seconds to try to fix that problem. So it's going to go blank here for a second. IUKA. Because that needs to get fixed right now. IUKA. That'd be Iuka map. Edit. Make sure we got the latest update on that. Okay, so there you go. You're looking at it. So while I'm fixing this, you'll be able to see it as well. Iuka, huh? That should be instantaneous. It's that one. Might just have a HI Iuka. Okay, well, never mind. That one is the fast link. Apparently it's just slow today. There you go. Learned something new. Okay, so back out to Itawamba County, as we've kind of referenced this here a couple of times. Watching those storms kind of developing back into Guntown. Let's check the camera in Guntown. And then I got one south of New Albany we'll try to look at here in a moment as well. So Guntown camera. Yeah, you're kind of under it, aren't you, in Guntown at the moment? 77 rain-cooled at the Tupelo Airport. Also on my list, Emily, we've got to get the live data from Guntown on there, on that camera. I promise we'll eventually get the to-do list done. Lightning strikes, pretty decent number of those. You're going to see a pretty good little bolt here in a second. Interesting. So this camera is on a slower feed, so it does run about 15-20 seconds behind. So you'll see the bolt here in a second, and then that was the rumble of thunder I heard here at the house a moment ago. Say that. It should be catching up here in just a second. One of the amazing things I've learned in the last year, look at how the trees are starting to move. There's that bolt of lightning. So it's running. That's almost 30 seconds behind. So we'll definitely have to update this one. But yeah, some gusty winds kind of moving through the trees there toward the camera lens location there in the Guntown area. In a moment, I'll see and make sure that's on the right one as well. So Guntown, moving toward you. Might as well fix it and fix it for good. I'll pull up chat while we're doing this so you guys can talk back and forth, and I'll try to answer some of those questions as we can. Yeah, see, that's Guntown HLS, and it needs to be a different link. Cam feed, Waupun, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Looks like the regular Guntown's not working right now. Oh, well, nice try. Emily, I might trade places with you for a second so I can get it to where you can get those videos in on your end. I think no day like today, right? Before we do that, Fulton, checking the wind on there, kind of moving into town. Of course, we've had the big gust front. That's what the red is kind of moving through. Heavy rainfall, lightning, obviously, with that. And let's check the storm here south of Ecru for hail. Not really much showing up on that yet. 3D shows it's not as rough yet, thankfully. So the chat is up there. Let me show you around kind of what we're looking at here, and I'll clip this on you for a second. I know, I apologize. You're gonna have, you'll get through this for a moment. So just go and put that on. Okay, so you can see the chat there. Someone was asking, how do you sponsor a camera? Send us an email to info@msliveweather.com. That's info@msliveweather.com. You can see the msliveweather.com in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Just put info in front. And we've got a group of people that help you do that. So the mouse, I'm going to move you up to here.
Okay.
Right there, you can scroll. You can see on the screen up there the questions and comments and stuff like that. But you can also see over here. And actually, what
over
I think
where?
You can also see right there. But I think what I'll actually do is I will have you come and use this one here to pull up pictures for a moment. Yes.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
And I'll move that in front so you're not like looking off screen.
You're taller.
I can't. No,
you're taller than me.
I can't do that actually. It takes this screen. Okay, so let's bring up those pictures. I'll let you go through some folks' pictures here for a moment.
Do I just double click on them?
Ooh, actually, hold on. I messed up. Let me go back to, I want chat. I want that.
You guys should see what this setup is like. It's like air traffic control, but for weather. I guess they have weather too, technically, in air traffic control.
Okay, so I'm going to set this to 50 items per page.
I just click on it?
So you just click on it. If you click info, it'll give you name, and it typically it'll say location there. But yeah.
Now if I click on like,
so you click on it and it pops it up big, and then you just click back to this tab again.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So there's a big one. There you go. And I'll clean the tabs up in a minute.
And he has an ergonomic mouse and also about 25 tabs open at one time. So just thank you for bearing with me. You know what? I'm going to do a reset because I've never been able to do that. Thank you for joining us for this live stream of Mississippi Live Weather. I am Emily Leonard. My government name is Emily Laupun. I am Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupun's wife, if you do not know who I am. Current time now on this Friday afternoon is 1:58. Hey, happy 4th of July, everyone. Why not start the 4th of July weekend with a literal bang? God's fireworks, that's for sure. My garden is drenched out there, which is exactly what it needed after this hot weather that we have seen. You can hear those rumbles of thunder right above our house in northern Lee County. All right, so thanks for bearing with me. He's taller than me, so I'm going to have to do this little motion. So thank you for chatting with us. Some folks saying that it's getting dark in the Ratcliffe community, dark clouds coming in. Yeah, I'm sure you guys, yes, we are married. Yeah, some dark clouds coming in. And speaking of those dark clouds, as Matt mentioned, I'm going to come back over here if I can find his mouse to the pictures that you're sending in using the Mississippi Live app. We want to thank you for doing that. If I double click on them, yeah, I would say those are definitely some large clouds. Y'all, if you don't have to travel today, don't get out. I would not recommend. Let's see, that one coming in, if I can get this going, from, the Red Bay area, the western side of Alabama. Seeing some of those initial and those early severe thunderstorm warnings this afternoon. A few more of these clouds coming in. These aren't too bad, but you can kind of see the rain coming in there, those rain shafts. I've learned a few things in being married to Matt for 15 years. No, not 15 years. Oh my gosh, it's more than that. I've been in Tupelo 15 years. All right, let's scroll down a little bit more. Ooh. See, the power of this is I get to choose what I want to see. Also, hey, big thanks to all of our sponsors, Lee Storm Shelters, Littles, all of them. They're scrolling down there at the bottom of the screen. I love this picture. Not only can you see it coming in, but you can also see a bug. I don't know if that is a live bug. I don't know if it's on somebody's windshield, but either way, I like to see it. Let's see where this photo is coming in. There's a funny little mouse here, so it's always kind of fun to try to work with the photos and his mouse all at the same time. Oh, that original photo coming in from the Poplar Springs area. Bradley, thank you for sending that in. That coming in about 1:30 or so this afternoon. I'm going to try to refresh this page and see what I get if I go to content. I know I hit gallery. I can do 12 to 50. Hey, you left me to my own devices here. So hello to everybody.
Power out, thunder bad.
Power out front, the thunder is so bad. Ashley.
The thunder rolls.
You know what? Somebody actually made the Garth Brooks reference already. One of my favorite singers, Garth Brooks. But yeah, it is definitely rolling in for sure. You want this back now?
See, I'm fine. So I have that open back there.
Okay.
It's on Google Drive. And when people submit the videos, they go into that drive. And then you can save them. You put them in there. If you want to put multiple back to back that we could do, that I could toss to you, put your audio on and let you talk about them.
Okay, so that's in Google. No,
not this. There's a Google Drive thing. It is open back there. This is pictures. Video comes in a different way. So I'm gonna let you do the videos.
All right, 10-4.
You got this. Mrs. Lawpond to the rescue. Somebody's got to keep this straight. Hey, new special weather statement, I think, coming out for the Tupelo area. Again, that's one of those non-severe thunderstorms, sort of advisories that they put out. It is 2:01. You're watching Mississippi Live. We're a 24/7 weather streaming service based out of the Tupelo, Mississippi area. We've got some sub-severe thunderstorms here. We've got a lot of you paying attention, obviously, with a holiday weekend. We're not going to keep this coverage going forever, per se, but we do know that people are watching, people are interested, and frankly, I'm going to be 100% honest. We're working out the kinks on how to do some stuff here. And it's better to, as we always say, it's not always better, but sometimes it's more effective to practice with live ammunition. And that's what we are doing today with this here. And hopefully that ammunition does not mean storms that cause damage for your house and your folks. But certainly in Fulton, those thunderstorms pretty heavy at this point. Our camera with the Mississippi Department of Transportation there, again, showing up with a lot of heavy rainfall, gusty winds with this. But honestly, it does not look like severe winds per se on that shot there. A decent amount of lightning, but not necessarily severe winds per se. As we go up the road to New Albany, we've been watching the storms kind of approaching the New Albany area. They have now arrived in New Albany. I've been working so hard on news lately, I haven't got you on my map, on the other map, so I've pulled it up kind of backward way. Again, just watching that storm. So you can start to see some raindrops. I can see it in front of the trees there, some of the drops as that nearest storm is approaching. Storm below severe limits there in the New Albany area as it kind of moves into town. I will see if I can pull up GHALMN, the time lapse on this. I think this should be here. Again, this tends to be a little bit blurry as it's kind of playing catch up, but we can also sort of see the storm approaching. Are we at 2 o'clock here? Okay, so go back a little bit just to kind of see. There you go, kind of bubbling up and coming into town. That's the one on the south side getting a little stronger there. You can see on the left side of the screen. Appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Again, our partner with this camera network, the New Albany camera here, certainly bubbling up quite a bit. I'll go back. Yeah, that's when we moved a little bit ago. But you can actually see kind of the boundaries there where storms are kind of bubbling up there along the boundaries that fills in. And obviously the storm pretty much right there on the doorstep right now. Bring it back to live on that camera lens there in New Albany. The storms that we have there are below severe limits at this time, at least there in New Albany, kind of moving in. But at least you're getting in the rain cooled air, and that's made it through Halltown, Alpine, Bethany, Guntown as well, kind of where that is the case. Looking back southwest to Houston, some storms there in northwestern Clay County, a camera there in Houston. One that we'll check as this eventually expands toward Calhoun County as well. Non-severe, below severe limits, but yeah, obviously a lot fuzzier. Crisp is not necessarily good because then when you can see it very, very well, we were able to really kind of hone in on what it is. And that usually means it's fairly strong. Everything kind of fuzzy on our camera there in Houston. So a good sign there with that. Go ahead and clear that off and check our power outage map. Again, power outage is something that we end up with in this situation here from time to time. None that are as significant as earlier this week where we did have thousands and thousands without power. Looks like the leading percentage-wise is Lamar County at 3%. Tishomingo County much better off than earlier this week at only 0.6%. So obviously speaks to the hard work that folks have done to get the power back on there all week long, with only about 100 folks there without power there in Corinth, about 400, excuse me, not Corinth, in Tishomingo County, about 400 there in Lamar County. You notice sometimes when we show the percentages, you can have less than 100. And so most of these spots, it's less than 100 folks without power at this time. So a fortunate turn of events in comparison to where we were earlier this week. And it does speak to the fact that these storms are weaker than what we had going on earlier this week with some of those thunderstorms as well. Clear that off. Looking here behind the scenes. Hey, Emily, on my list of things, I need to probably design a script for vertical video. I'll give you a vertical video script that you can do, because I know so many people like taking it like this. The screen works best if we're trying to fit me and the radar on when it's like this. That's why we still stream live like this, even though most of us do this in vertical mode, because it allows us to be able to fit more geography on there. If it was just in vertical, you'd pretty much get me and you wouldn't see any actual weather. So that's why we still go like this instead of like that. So the Union Northern Pontotoc, a new, again, special weather statement coming out a few minutes ago here for, again, non-severe, but potential that this one's getting a little more rough out here approaching New Albany. Give me a moment. I'm going to take my New Albany camera back to edit mode because I'm going to see if... hold on. Where's it at? Yeah, let's go back to New Albany. Edit to see if we can have the faster update on that turned on as well. Some links here. As the North Mississippi Storm Chasers have really been doing a great job expanding the network. I have, because we're in the quasi off season, I've prioritized some other things. It does not look like I have the fast updating one. Nope, I do not. So we'll have to get that done as well. And the list goes on. Bum, bum, bum. Rain and thundering in Mantachie, dangerous lightning in Saltillo. I would say that, I've said this before, I'll say this again. The only kind of weather phenomenon that ever kind of jolts me is lightning. I'm not particularly scared of tornadoes per se, because I'm pretty decent at forecasting where those are going, where they're coming from. But lightning always catches you a little bit off guard. Even if you know it's coming, that strike, it's kind of hard to not. A moment to pull that off and just kind of look at the lightning quantity, because what I want to show is kind of the hot spots for lightning. And I, on my list, need to design something there where we can just show lightning. I have an idea on how to do that. But anyway, all that to say, the quantity of lightning is less now than it was a couple of hours ago. in particular with these thunderstorms that we have moving through kind of the Tupelo area, moving northward. So you can see about 600 strikes in this area now versus the same kind of width of shot, you know, an hour ago it was 800. So that is a sign that the weakening has continued somewhat on this. That's not to say that we don't have some interesting looking stuff out there. Looking out of our camera in Tupelo, North Mississippi Storm Chasers camera there, Stan kind of has the shot looking underneath the tower at some interesting and what we like to call scary looking clouds. Sometimes things can look, you know, it's possible to look strong but not necessarily be strong. And so in this, that's kind of the situation here where this looks, I think, a little worse than the reality of the situation. Let's go ahead and look at how it has progressed, because I think we've had kind of some cool twisty things going on around here out of this camera. Appreciate Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling for sponsoring this Tupelo camera. And unfortunately, I don't have a good way to show this with their logo. So this, again, I apologize to Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling. I don't have the logo on this time lapse. If and when we post it, well, it does look like, so kind of an interesting looking feature there. Can I zoom it in? I don't think it's going to let me in more granularly than that. Nope, I can't without me looking away. I made it unhappy. So here's an important thing to note. Whatever that is or was, this is what it now is, which is nothing. So you're going to get, that's why I say, you know, your tornado threat is not zero, because weird things sometimes happen. That was not a tornado, was not going to become a tornado, but you can sometimes get twisting in the clouds, even in a non-tornado sort of setup. And that's kind of what that was a moment ago on that shot there on our Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling camera, and the time lapse going alongside that there on my list of things. I just have to figure out a way to get logos on that shot because it comes in differently, but I got an idea on that. Let's go back to radar here and talk about kind of what we're looking at there. New severe thunderstorm. Hold on. Nope, that is not. That was the old one. Now we're back to current time here. And no severe thunderstorm warnings out there on these storms. So here's what we're gonna do. I think at 12:15, Emily, if you've got a picture or if you've got a video or two there that you want to show, we'll go ahead and show those. Because I'm noticing that you looks like you might have a few things ready back there. Can you give me a thumbs up? Or thumbs down? Thumbs up? Okay. So we're gonna bring in our Emily Leonard here, who has put together, brought in some of the pictures, some of the videos that you guys have shared with us. And Emily, I mean, a lot of people driving through rain sort of stuff, as opposed to a lot of, you know, significant severe weather, thankfully. What do you have?
So just a couple of videos, not only showing the rain that was hit. Maybe I see. I may not have done that right. Oh.
You had the one in.
I had the one in. Oh.
You had the one in there for strap. Yeah, the one. So it went and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a lower third," and it wasn't there. So if you want to drop in some lower thirds on those, I'll come back to you in a second.
I did drop in one lower. I did.
I don't show it in the rundown with the lower thirds.
Look at the very top.
I'll let you. Do you want me to let you do that for a minute here?
Sure.
Or do you just want to, you know, I said we probably shut it down at 12:15. So I mean, it's up to you. If you just want to show the videos and talk over them without the lower thirds.
Sure.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. Did you take your ones out? Yes, you should be good. Okay.
No.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Okay.
Well, now you have a lower third. It's fine. We'll just go to it. You'll get it. I'll get you through. Promise.
We're in it together. Okay, this is the video that I was trying to show, obviously, the heavy rain. Kelly Estes, I believe, sending us this video, trying to work out the kinks on how to get the videos in and out. So I'm not exactly sure where this is, but really, at this point, that's kind of how a lot of North Mississippi is looking. At least that's how it looked outside of our house just a few moments ago. All right, the next video I have, well, it may not have come in. I had some video coming in of where the storm was coming in. It didn't say. There it is. Now that video is transcoding. So it'll come in eventually. Obviously, a lot of people sending in their videos of when the storms are rolling through. And thanks for just being patient with us. It's about 65% done on transcoding. I dropped the video twice, because that's exactly what would happen. Ooh, I think it might be in, if you can pop up that video now.
Oh, I see it. Okay, you ready to do this?
Yeah, I can try it. All right, I love this shot. It's nice and it's calm, beautiful blue skies. And then as she pans the camera over, there is a look at that thunderstorm. This reminds me of the storms rolling in West Texas. Ooh, you can see the lightning in there too. Those storms in West Texas you could see from miles and miles away. So this just kind of reminded me of that. But I mean, this is what a lot of people were seeing today. Just really, I guess you guys call them scary looking clouds, SLCs, just dark, kind of ominous, lots of thunder and lightning, just kind of loud booms up in the sky. But I thought it was an interesting juxtaposition of the clear skies and then to watching that storm coming in as well. Matt? I probably didn't put it in the right queue.
No, you did fine. I was looking for a lower third to put a lower third, your name key on, and then you said Matt, and I'm like, oh, I gotta scroll up, and then everything's a little bit delayed. Yeah.
Well, I was trying to put a lower third in there. Basically, what we're saying is I was trying to give people credit for the videos that they sent in, but with the Dropbox, it didn't come with any information, so I was having a hard time finding it.
Oh, gotcha. There is a spreadsheet. It's always a spreadsheet. There's a spreadsheet where it automatically puts the information in there. Put that on the list and circle that one. We'll get to that one right after we're done here. With that in mind, I'll bring it back over here to Mama Justice Stop Bar. I think we'll probably go ahead and shut this down, which is code for, of course, they'll issue a new warning here in a minute, because that's how that almost always goes, right? Let me double check with Birmingham, what everyone else is kind of seeing on this here. Yeah, not getting a lot of reports in. You guys again are letting us know. David mentioning it's over here in Pontotoc. More fireworks in Fulton tonight. And Nikki saying you're doing a great job, Emily. And Matt, I need to treat Emily to a spa day soon. That is 110% true. Maybe a spa week. Let's be clear. I'll bring her back on for this. My wife worked for 15 years at the TV station here, right? 15 years. She leaves on Tuesday, and at a business that her husband owns, and I guess we'll probably put in her name at some point, she has to go to work the next day, doesn't even get a day off. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and on top of that, we have had, it is what it is. It's kind of what I expected, maybe not to this degree. Although we have managed for the 3 days I've been working for you, having severe weather every single day.
With me.
So
with me.
Really?
Not for.
Well, I own it, right? I'm kidding. I don't. But I will. So yeah, severe weather. I mean, when weather is news, what else are you going to talk about? So doing my best, learning a lot. Really appreciate all of you guys. And I have a very long list of honeydews for Matt to do.
Okay, and we'll get on that here in a second. As I'm just kind of looking things over here, we'll kind of wrap things up for a moment. Looking at the chat. Everyone wants to know where in Texas. West Texas. Somebody said they saw from San Angelo. My first opportunity to be chief meteorologist in Texas that I messed up the job interview for would have been in Abilene, so pretty close to that. And then we were in Lubbock, Texas I was there 7 years. She was there longer before we moved here to Mississippi. Okay, so here's your headlines. First and foremost, if you don't have it, make sure to download the Mississippi Live Weather app. It's free and available for every device that you could imagine. And in this case, the importance of that is that, if additional warnings are issued, they'll let you know, it'll let you know that you need to be paying attention, you need to go to safety and all those sorts of things. So pick up the app for Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. And I'll tell you this, it does not exist yet, but I've got, hold on. Report just came in, tree limbs fell. Oh man, okay, Emily. Jason Nichols with Lee County, tree limb fell on a person on road 1277. So there are injuries with that apparently. And this is the concern that we've talked about over and over and over again, that with the ice storm, you've got these limbs. I'm gonna look outside my window. I got one that I've been watching. This one didn't make it fall, but the next storm could. So these limbs from the ice storm, they're going to do this. They're going to hurt people. We've got to be smart. We've got to be safe. So unfortunate to hear that. But thank you again, the hardest working person in meteorology in the state of Mississippi, James Bishop with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers there, catching my attention right before we went. Appreciate that. Make sure we've got that. Go ahead.
No, I need that report from James.
Here.
No, give me your phone.
No, I'll give you it's right there too. I need food. I know, I need food too. And if you need to watch our next broadcast, our next live broadcast is going to be coming up at 5 o'clock, unless there's severe weather. We'll come back on for that. It's easy enough to flip the switch and do that. 5, 6, 9, and 10. We will hopefully have an update on I don't know how much more information we're going to have on the injuries with that tree limb that fell. And hopefully we don't have additional tree limbs that fall. There will be sporadic wind damage with these storms. Updates again at 5, 6, 9, and 10. And thank you to our premier partner, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. They are obviously going to be giving away the St. Jude Dream Home. It's a little while before we find that out. I think it's October, but you can get your ticket for $100. That donation essentially to St. Jude helps to end childhood cancer, and at the exact same time gives you the opportunity to win a house valued at more than $725,000. And let me just say this as well. I'll come back on camera for this for a moment. It is so easy to get that. If you go to Mississippi Live Weather app, and I always have our widget with the 7-day forecast up there. You have the video that's right there at the top. You have local news and forecast video that are right there. So if you want to watch your most recent news, you can click that. It would have been updated sooner if I hadn't cut in for severe weather. But if you scroll down, there's a place there where it says St. Jude. You tap that. $100 donation from you gets you a chance to win a $725,000 home and end childhood cancer. And if you do it before hold on, I think the early bird prize, I need to double check that. If that's the end of July, Emily, we'll check that out. But there's an early bird prize. There's other prizes you can win depending on when you enter and when you get that. Okay, we will see you coming up here a little bit later on. Thank you so much for supporting us here on Mississippi Live. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Hi, I'm Mississippi Live Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Reserve your St. Jude Dream Home giveaway ticket by July 31st, and you'll be eligible to win the house and the early bird prize, a $10,000 gift card to Brooks Grocery. Visit dreamhome.org to reserve your ticket for $100 and help St. Jude Children's Research Hospital continue its life-saving work. Then watch Mississippi Live on October 29th to see who wins the house and the other prizes. Reserve your ticket today.
homecenter.com.